in Western Sydney, you would know this in the music scene, right?
Yeah.
Getting gigs is fucking hard.
When you're starting out, good luck.
Yeah, it's a hard door to knock on. It's not even slammed in your face. It's not even fucking open.
Nah.
You got to go find another way in. Yeah. And you got to do that in collaboration with other bands.
Yep.
You got to do that in collaboration with a venue.
Yep.
You got to come to an agreement.
Yeah.
And all of these things. And we haven't even played music yet, man. We're just talking about the place to play it.
Yeah, and you'll be prepared to make no money.
No money. So getting a platform for artists in Western Sydney is always a challenge.
Yeah.
So the same challenge is in the film industry. So the same challenge in the metal industry is the same challenge. And because I come from a metal background, I could see the problem.
Really? Metal background? Okay.
Yeah, man. Cause I've been a heavy metal singer for 20 years.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, man. Pull your mic a bit closer to you. A bit closer.
How's that?
Yeah, there, and lower.
And lower.
There you go.
Is that good?
Yeah, hold on. I'll push it right.
Go for it.
There you go.
You happy with that?
Yeah, that's the space. That's where you want to be.
Sick. Okay.
I started singing in heavy metal bands when I was 19.
Fuck.
And I've played in 3 successful bands.
Nice. Hit me some names. I hope I know something.
Oh, no, you wouldn't know this one. My first band was Leaving Metropolis.
Leaving Metropolis.
Yeah, we based that on Superman and Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Because Nicolas Cage was supposed to be Superman.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Leaving Las Vegas?
I don't think I have, no.
It's a film about alcoholism, and it's a very confronting film. Okay. It's kind of like Requiem for a Dream, but for alcohol.
Right.
And Nicolas Cage is the drunk. And so we come up with Leaving Metropolis, and we put a bottle of Jack Daniels in Superman's hand, right?
Sick.
And that was kind of the premise.
Was that like your brand? It was like the artwork.
Yeah, that's the premise for that, right? So Leaving Metropolis. So, drunken Superman. Essentially.
Cool.
We wrote a set for that, and we played that around Queensland, and then.
Queenslander.
Yeah, man. No, not originally.
Okay.
Originally from Western Sydney.
And then did you meet up with the boys there, or did you? Really how'd that come about?
Oh no, I was in the army, man.
Oh shit!
So I was in the army in a heavy metal band. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, dude, that's so good.
I was in not just the army. I was in like a war fighting unit.
Holy shit.
Several actually. I had a 10-year career.
Wow.
I did a few tours overseas. Okay. And whilst being in bands, so I was in the army and in bands.
Amazing.
I came back to Sydney, started a band called Alpha Degenerate.
Alpha
Degenerate.
Alpha Degenerate.
Yeah.
Okay. Sick.
Yeah. So like an alpha male, but degenerate.
Yeah. Cool.
So the Alpha Degenerate.
I know a fair few of those.
Yeah. Well, there was 4 of us in one band at one point. So
sick.
And then that band sort of merged into Mendoza, which was my most recent band.
Mendoza.
Yeah.
I did see some of this. I didn't watch them, but I saw the name. It was like 2 videos at the start of your channel. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that on the Mendoza page there is. My Alpha Degenerate content's way better though.
Okay,
it's way
sick.
Grittier. It's filmed better. Okay. Sounds better.
Oh, we're rolling, yeah?
Yeah, man. We're just rolling. We'll do an intro at some point.
Well, I was going to say, like, could you show me a bit? But
we'll do it. We'll do it, man. We'll do it. Because I've been watching some of your clips today, man.
Okay.
I didn't know. I just thought you were a filmmaker. I just thought you were a video filmmaker, right? A videographer and editor for making music videos.
Yeah.
But then I saw some of your content. I'm like, oh no, you're the front man.
Yeah.
In Teeth, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, may as well do the. We're doing the introduction anyway.
Okay,
may as well just jump right in.
All right.
And welcome to the Pagey train. Today I have in the studio with me, Blake Curby, videographer, editor, and frontman for the band Teeth. Welcome to the show.
Yo, what's going on?
Word up, G. What's happening in the house?
We're hanging out with like pop culture history by the looks of it. I love it.
Yeah, probably it goes all the way back. I've got a poster up there that's from Back to the Future. So technically it's back to the 50s, really, if you think about it existentially within the movie universe.
Sick.
Yeah, no, but being a frontman, I love being a frontman. Always have. I love writing for heavy metal.
Yeah.
Love coming up with stories about songs and albums and EPs and having concepts.
Yeah.
Alpha Degenerate was like a conspiracy metal band.
Really?
Yeah, man. We sung about 9/11, Kennedy assassination.
And that would have been like the time when like the internet wasn't as. I mean, the internet's always been crazy.
It was the start of social media.
Yeah,
it was at the start. Yeah, where the internet was a Wild West place, more so than now. It's still the Wild West, but very uncensored.
Everything's just text and flash.
Yeah.
Just text and flash.
Video was a new thing, man. I was filming our band, man. I'd take a 3-camera crew and film our band and then go do a post-edit. So I'd do a multicam edit.
Yeah.
And I was doing multicam edits for bands back in 2011.
Wow.
And that was a really new concept.
Yeah.
'Cause you'd have to hire a team and an OB van to
Yeah.
come and shoot that. But now it's totally accessible. You can shoot your own stuff.
100%. Dude, when I was getting into bands and when I was first going to gigs and stuff, there was this I don't know, production media company. I don't know whatever you call them. You might know of them. They were called Moshcam.
Moshcam, yeah, I know Moshcam. I've actually filmed for Moshcam.
Oh, sick. Yeah, there you go.
I filmed a few bands for those guys.
Yeah.
A big shout out, Les, if you're listening.
There you go. Old man Les. Don't know who you are, but fuck yeah.
Yeah, Les Bishop, man. Big shout out. Very smart man.
That was sick. Like, when I was, I'd say like 17 or whatever, I'd go to a gig and then like, I don't know, 8 months later, I'd be on YouTube. I'd YouTube the band's name, and it comes on up, and I'm like, holy shit! I get to like rewatch this thing with multiple cameras, and the audio sounds all right.
It sounds all right. It's a live audio.
Yeah,
audio. Yeah.
It's like, I hope the band does a good job, but who cares? Because it's 2009, and no one is really that amazing in the local metal scene anyway. So
yeah, well, it depends what you mean by amazing. Hold on, hey, Jan, can you do me a favor? Can you pan more on Blake there? He's right in the corner. You got to give him less looking room, bro. He's over here. He's right over there. I need him like here. Pan a bit more. There you go. Sonic Boom, bro. Give me a look. Yeah, now it's better. Yeah, now I'm stoked. Now I'm stoked. Getting that kind of content for a band is gold.
yeah,
It's absolute gold, especially around then and especially now.
yeah,
You need to have video content for an audio space, which is bizarre.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Everything's visual.
It's all goes hand in hand, man. It's all an experience.
Yeah. Oh man, but you got to be everything, right?
Yeah.
In a band, you got to be everything.
Literally.
But tell us a little bit about your journey, man. Like, what got you into being a videographer?
Being a videographer.
Yeah. Like, do you do mainly shooting or editing? What's your main forte?
Dude, so I do everything for the projects I do. Hey.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten very good at really delegating yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I definitely work with other dudes from time to time, but for the most part, if I'm doing a project, I try to do everything, and that's not because I am a control. I probably am, but no, it's I think part of it's because like I also wanna know what's going on with the before I start to get other people. Also budgets as well.
Yeah, budgets and vision. That's where
Yeah.
I know the crossroads you're at.
Yeah.
You don't want to compromise your vision.
Yeah.
And that's the fear of collaboration.
Yeah.
But you got to pay people too.
Well, that's it. And like, I'm a strong believer. If I pay someone, I want to at least try to at least pay them or pay them like what they want to get paid. And usually when I find out when someone's like, oh, I wish I got paid more, I'm like, I should. Like, I wish that like I had a better conversation with them, whatever.
It's a tight space though.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tight space. Like I've been on plenty of productions, man, paid and unpaid.
Yeah.
But generally for like music videos, most people are working for the fun of it. Because it's a lot of fun putting a music video together.
Absolutely.
Finding a location, getting the band in there, and getting some nice backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fun process. Because you're with a band that's keen. They're excited because they're getting their clip made.
Yeah.
They've just probably finished their EP.
Yep.
So they're on the high of that.
It's the reward. It's the reward part.
Yeah.
Doing the music video is the reward part. For myself, I made the grave mistake because you're saying like, oh, you do the music videos for your band. I don't anymore. I stopped doing them. So everything that we do, when the band's like, oh, can you put this together? I'm like, let's just outsource it. And they're like, no, but it'll like save us money. I'm like, no, just outsource it. Because like, it creates like internal conflicts.
It does, man.
Because your client becomes your own band. And it's like, I don't want to like argue with the dudes in my band. Like, I want to like really like keep those relationships as just like, we're in a band together and that's it. And then like, we can hire someone and, you know, because I'll be honest, it was causing like a bit of like friction between me and some of the. Well,
there is differences between filming and performing, and then you've got the performance on screen.
Yeah,
you've got the performance of you as the camera operator.
Yeah,
then you've got the performance of you as an editor. So there's a lot of choices.
Yeah.
in that space because the choices that you got to the EP, like you've written it either remotely. Yeah. And then brought it together.
Yeah.
and then decided, no, this is the flagship one. This is the winner. This is the one we want to push, right?
Yeah.
Then you go and put it into a studio. Everyone records their parts. You deliberate over that.
Yeah.
Collaborate over that. And then you come to an agreement, and then you master it. That's a massive process.
It's a huge process.
Huge process.
It's crazy how much of a process it is, man. And
everyone's got a vested interest, right?
Everyone's got an invest. Yeah. Everyone does, and I think also as well, everyone starts to like freak out because they're like, time. Everyone's spent the last 2 years just like waiting for this and waiting for that, and when this comes back, we'll then do this. So it's like even the last 2 years would have been such a strain on like everyone's projects. So yeah, man, there's all those variables. Look, to answer your question, how I got into doing video and whatever, was through graphic design.
Okay.
So I've like since I was since I was 14 is when I started graphic designing. Before that, I was a artist. Okay, as like a little boy, I was an artist. So I used to just draw Dragon Ball Z characters and Pokemon and Pokemon characters, all the time. And I used to like fill pages up, A4 pages in school. My teachers would be like, "You can't do your times tables, but goddamn, like you pump out a cool picture of a thing that I don't even know what that is." So, like quickly, like my teachers caught on, like to my parents, like, "Oh, like like all he does is draw. Like all his textbooks and everything's just full of with scribbles." And they're like, "Oh, he's creative. You should push him with that." And then so my parents were like, "Yeah, sick. Let's push him to that." And then, so I'm like finishing up primary school, and I don't even know how I realized this, but I realized that where I lived, which was the Central Coast, I didn't want to go to school there.
Okay, why's that?
I think it's because I knew that it was I heard like a lot of bad stories about the high schools, just through my sisters going to them, and then like kids around the school here and so. And I was like, whatever. And I was like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to high school here. And then my mum was working with this chick.
So it was like a rough sort of high school.
Well, yeah, like apparently all the schools. I mean, and a lot of that actually came out to be true. Like when I was older and I knew people from the schools like that actually came to my school, which was in Sydney. I would find out these stories. I'm like, I'm so glad I dodged that bullet. So my mum's working with this woman, and this woman's like, my mum obviously just asked her like, what school do your kids go to? And this woman's like, oh, I send my kids to this creative arts high school.
Okay.
And it sounds amazing, but to be fair,
well, I went to a music school, but it was a public music school.
Yeah, so it was a public school, right? But when I started there, it was like really marketed as a creative arts high school, and it was on the North Shore. I don't know if I'm going to say what school it is.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
So my mum's like, cool, we'll get him to go to that, and they were like, you've got to like apply, and like you've got to submit a portfolio because we're an art school, and he wants to be an artist, so he needs to submit this art. So like I dig out this like tray of just like Dragon Ball Z characters that I've drawn or whatever. And do you know Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, man, yeah.
And my mum's like, yeah, cool, you got accepted. I'm like, all right, sick. So like for 6 years, I was 12 years old, I got on the train, and it was a 2-hour journey one way to school.
Yeah, wow.
I did for 6 years.
That's a massive commute, dude.
Yeah, and I
Daily.
think it's a huge. And so like it'd be 2 hours from door to door. So like, when I leave the house to when I get to school, it's 2 hours. We get a train to Hornsby, and then we'd get a bus.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go to the school, creative arts school, and I'm like, year 8, I have this art teacher, and she's like kind of into graphic design, whatever, and she picks up that like I love all this shit, and then she starts filling my brain with like, you've got an eye for design and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, cool, and like me being impressionable and narcissistic like 13-year-old, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be a graphic designer. So anyway, on goes this like dream and aspiration to be a graphic designer. So I leave the school, I go get a job, but I'm also like, I really love music. I want to do music. So I'm kind of torn between these two things, and I've kind of dealt with that for like a decade.
Was that from listening to music, or like seeing someone play, or like what was the spark there?
I think the earliest memory I have of seeing someone perform music and me going, fuck, that's sick.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah. I would be like 7 or 8, right? And we'd moved on from Coffs Harbour to the Central Coast. And this would be like the year 2000, maybe 2001. I think I'm going to say 2000. We're living in this house, haunted as fuck, by the way. Some weird shit happened. My parents did a seance
Yeah.
We can talk about that another time.
Yeah, no, we could. Yeah, we'll go down the seance rabbit hole soon.
We can go another time. Anyway, so
I will do a callback to that. I want to know what's going on with that. Anyway,
kind of fucked up. Anyway, I'm like the house that we moved into. We stayed with family friends until we actually got a place of our own. You know, and they kind of got us set up in Sydney in Central Coast. So. I'm like chilling, playing like Pokemon on like Nintendo 64 with like my family friend's kid that's my age, and then he's like, oh, like, and then like, we're getting ready to leave. I getting picked up or something like that, and like I'm walking out, and I hear like this like heavy metal, like I hear this like this noise getting played from like the older brothers like garage rumpus room, kind of like a space like this, right? Whatever. Yeah. It's like kind of a garage. I don't know. Anyway, walk in. And they're playing like Limp Bizkit and Alien Ant Farm.
Yeah, okay.
And like these dudes are like in like Dickies pants, like they've got like the backwards caps. They just all want to look like Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they're just like
Fred's fat. Let's just say that. Fred's fat, man.
Poor dude, but he's fucking. Oh
man, I know plenty of their music. No doubt about that.
So yeah, they're like playing like Limp Bizkit and Alien Ant Farm covers, and I'm just sitting there just like watching these dudes, and they finish and they look just like, and it felt like something out of a movie, and like one of them was like, what do you reckon? Did it sound like Limp Bizkit? And I'm just like, I don't even know what Limp Bizkit is. Like, I kind of recognized Alien Ant from the radio. I'm like,
that always annoyed me though with bands though, man. You want to sound like this other band. Like, I get the idea. Like, you can't do music without doing a cover. You have to do covers first, and then find your own voice.
Absolutely.
But bands that are doing original music, and you go, I want to sound like this band. I'm like, why don't you want to sound like your band?
Yeah.
That always spun me out. I always wanted to sound like my band.
100%. Well, I think they were just dudes that were just like. They were a band that performed whatever, but it just felt like very like they're just jamming. Anyway, I only remembered that like 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Before that, I don't even remember my earliest like exposure to people playing live music that's heavy. Anyway, so what were we going? So
what flicked that switch in you where you wanted to be a performer?
I think just going to live shows and seeing these bands get up and just be fucking monsters. Like, so there's this band called Suicide Silence. Have you heard of them?
No.
Okay, they're huge in this genre called deathcore. Okay, kind of a similar set.
By the way, folks, there's a lot more to metal than just metal. There's a whole catalog of the types of metal.
There is so much metal. It's endless. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. You could literally write a whole podcast about every genre.
You could do a podcast series on the amount of genres in metal, man. But I think for me it was like the similar thing. I saw someone in high school playing on stage going, if he can sing, man, because I always do impersonations really good with my voice. I can move it around and do different things with it.
You do voice acting, yeah?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I do voiceovers and voice acting and as much as I can.
Yeah.
The main guy I do is the American movie guy. Is my guy. You know,
this summer.
Yeah, one man, one desire. You know?
So good.
But yeah, I got my British horror guy. I've got a whole bunch of characters that I do for TV and these other things. But I just knew I had a talent for it, and I saw a guy playing music, man, and singing, and the crowd was getting it, and I liked the song, and I'm like, I do tunes like that in my head all the time. Yeah, like, it's just something, my brain's active that way. I make up my own tunes to things.
Yeah.
Or change the lyrics of songs that already exist.
There's like a constant riff just playing in your brain.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And now, as I've gotten older, it's different riffs, man. It's drum beats. It's guitar riffs, man. And then it's vocal lines, man.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on these days. But yeah, I just remember that electric moment and that first show. I always have tied that in my mind. It's funny that you talk about it, just remembering it. Like, you've only just remembered it.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me, man. Like, I not so much question myself one day. You know, when you're just pondering and something just pops in your head?
Yeah.
There's a moment like that, and I'm like, that's why I got into metal. I remember the first cover I did was from Korn.
Really?
Yeah, man.
What song?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was Adidas, actually.
Hectic.
There was Adidas, and then I did Kill You.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I nailed Kill You.
Okay.
I think I was 17, 16-year-old.
What were you playing?
I was singing.
You're singing it?
Yeah, but I can. Well, it's funny. You go, did that sound like Korn? Yeah, man, I can make it sound like Korn, but now I'd rather make it sound
like you,
like me, because I got my own voice, man. I got my own nuances, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That journey was insane. Okay, so back onto your journey though, man.
We're getting ADD as hell over
here. Yeah, man, we're getting excited. Man. I didn't know that you were a front man as well and a videographer. Like, this is fucking insane.
We're like the same person.
We're on different parts of the coast, you know. Man.
So I guess okay, so yeah, I'm at this creative arts high school, right? And I'm meeting all these kids and influenced by all these people that are into this heavy music. And like the genres I was into, like I started into and actually still play now, it's called metalcore. So it's a combination of metal and hardcore punk.
That's awesome. I like that.
And it's freaking intense, man. It's so intense. And I'd hear these horror stories about these shows, right?
Like, what kind of horror stories?
Like, okay, do you know the band Parkway Drive?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so like I would hear stories, and like I'm in like year 9.
Yeah.
It's like 2007. I hear these stories like, yeah, man, like last week at like a Parkway Drive concert, or like the Roundhouse in like UNSW.
Yeah.
Like a kid like backflipped off like the PA speaker and broke his neck.
I fucking heard that story.
That must be true then. There you go. So like I'd hear stories like that, and then like I'd hear like, oh man, these kids out of like a Blacktown PCYC like stomped on this kid's head, and like this happened, or someone like almost died, or like
I think my drummer was at that gig.
There you go.
Yeah, he's told me that story. He was at the PCYC and he was drumming at that gig.
Yeah.
Big shout out, Rob.
Yeah. So you'd hear these stories, and like I don't know what it is, man. It's
horrific. That's horrific, ladies and gents.
Kind of fucked up, but like I would be like, that's sick.
Yeah.
But also like it's not acceptable.
I know what you're saying though, because you're saying people are going to extreme measures and the extreme things are happening at these shows.
And man, I think like that attracted me to going to shows, right? Just like the fear, the scare. Like I wanted to be scared. Like I wanted to just be there because I'm like, this is happening to the music that I love. Like this is what's going on when these people are playing. I'm like, oh my God. Like, okay, I just need to be there and I just need to witness what's going on. I don't even need to partake. Dude, no chance. I got there. I'm like moshing like a motherfucker.
Yeah, don't mind a good mosh.
Love it. Like and I got obsessed with moshing. And I think once my obsession with moshing kind of started to wear off just a little bit, that's when I was like, I still want to be a part of all this. And then I went to this show and I watched this band Suicide Silence. Okay. And like they came out, this is their first time out in the country, right? And they've just released like their debut album.
Yeah.
Mind you, their album, right? That like the one that I like lost my mind over, it's live recorded.
Okay.
And it's metal. Okay. So it gives them this like extremely raw, dirty sound. But
I know what you're talking about. I've been in bands where I've done other recordings live, and I go, yes, it's a good guide track. It's not something you would publish.
Yeah.
But other stuff I've done have been so gritty and so like heartful and like impactful. You're like, yeah, I know that's live, but that's fucking good.
When you get the right.
You need the right mix.
Right mix of dudes and the right producer to kind of bring it out of them as well, and like the dedication to like to play the songs in a live setting and then nail it. Dude, that album is like it's in that genre. It's one of the classics now. Okay?
Yeah.
So like, dude, I'm watching this show, right? I'm out there and like I'm there to see like the headliners or whatever. I'm not even really there to see Suicide Silence. And
yeah, I love it when that happens.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I'm just chilling, right? And like I kind of looked like the dude. I had like the long black dyed hair at the time. I've got orange hair. You probably can't tell.
Yeah, but you've gone quintessential metal.
Yeah, I'm like this like emo kid, and like just looking.
I'm so happy with being sad, man.
Literally. But I'm like so like angsty, and there's something trying to get at me. Anyway, dude, this dude comes out on stage. He's like skinny. He's skinnier than like the strings on that bass guitar, right? He's like sticks thin, and he comes out, and like the lights on stage were just red, all set. Okay?
Oh wow!
And he comes out with the band, and he's like, "We're Suicide Silence," and holy shit, it was the most brutal set I've ever seen, dude. You couldn't see his face. His hair was long, and he just drenched his hair in water, right?
Yeah.
And dude, the things he was doing on stage just complemented the set so well. And like, I know it might not sound as crazy as it sounds, but man, I haven't seen a band like it, and I've seen hundreds of bands.
Yeah, you're talking about a stage presence there, though,
like
and
everything.
And I definitely when you've got a wall of sound and a stage presence, that's something that really attracted me to the being a musician as well. Like I just realised though, there was a moment that it just flicked in me. I'm like, I don't just want to listen to this. I want to do this.
I want to be a part of it. I want to contribute to this.
Yeah, and
it's a part of like, I don't just want to take. I want to give back.
Yeah,
I want to contribute to this
and discover. Discover yourself, man.
Yeah.
Like I found so many parts. Like I used to call it my dark seed. I have to go to my dark seed.
Like playing metal and shit.
Yeah, I'd go to this dark place in me and then unleash it in a voice and try to get as primal as fucking possible. Then you get to a point, I think there's a point as a frontman, especially when you're starting out, you go to different techniques to get different screams and howls and different punches, right?
Yeah.
And you push a lot, and then you realise it's not about pushing, man. It's about throwing. You got to throw this shit around. It's like a way to describe it. It's like a kitten with a ball of wool.
Yeah.
You've got to move it around and be playful with it.
Yeah, man.
I really see guttural vocals in that space.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really, and that's how I've always approached it. And then you're looking for it to expand your horizons. Like, all right, so I can get this scream to here. I can hold for this many bars. Let's push it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get a longer scream out of that.
Yeah.
Let's see if I get a better resonance on this. Let's see if I can bend this further. I know I've bent this and I've transitioned to clean and now I'm back into grit. Let's see if I can bend it as well.
Dude, I can't wait to listen to your band after this.
Yeah.
I'm so keen.
Yeah, we'll see. The 50 hits that it's got on Spotify, I'm sure it's doing a sailing into the night.
Hey, man, it's not about that. It's about, it's like you said, it's going to your dark place and getting what you need.
Yeah,
the
dark seed, man. And then, in plugging into that dark seed, I learned things about myself.
What'd you learn?
Well, what's fueling the dark seed? Is this from my childhood? Is this from when I was in the military and the war? Is this, there's all these things that were feeding it.
Yeah.
And then I turned that around and I realized then it became light.
Yeah.
And then I now strike this light around. I know it sounds crazy. I'm putting it in a visual space.
No, I can, and also I can completely resonate with you on this.
Yeah, man. Because another way I try to describe it to people, because ignorant people will go, "You're just screaming into a microphone." An ignorant person will say that.
Yeah,
I don't even understand what they're saying. I'm like, but do you like James Brown? They go, yeah. Tell me what he's fucking singing about.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or Dave Grohl. Like, when Dave Grohl, really belts, man, he's literally, he's screaming harder than I scream.
Yeah, man, he's speaking in tongues at points,
yeah,
right?
Bro.
So, you may not understand it, but a lot of people do. And you're going and you're telling these stories and you're taking your body to places that you haven't taken it before. And a way to describe it to people is that you have the guitar inside you. Because you'll see a guitarist play, you'll watch a drummer with their instrument, but you don't see the vocal. You only hear the vocalist. You don't see their instrument. The instrument, the instrument is inside them.
Yeah.
And you have to treat it that way.
Yeah.
You have an instrument inside you.
Yeah.
And then you can exploit it further. Yeah. Because it's a muscle that you can train. That's why it's called guttural vocals, man.
Yeah. Literally, it's from your gut.
It's from your gut.
It's from your gut.
It will fuck you up, man. You do 4 hours of guttural vocals, man. You'll be able to. You'll still be able to talk, but you won't be able to sing. Because there's a different part of your voice. People go, how do you talk after a show with all that shouting? I'm like, it's not. It's not exactly shouting, mate. Okay, it's guttural vocals, dude. It's a different thing. But big shout out to my family members that were really nice to go to my shows. It's really nice.
That's mad.
Some people get it though, and yeah, man, the metalheads, man, and we know that you see them in the crowd. They're always wearing the denim vest with their favourite bands on it, man. Yeah. And they are die-hard fans. They'll go to any show. I love those guys.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So we bit of a plug. My band, we just did this tour, right? And we were a Wildcard on the tour. Oh, yeah? Huge Wildcard on the tour. So all the bands that we were playing with, they were had more of a death metal sound. Yeah. And there was 2 international bands. One's called Signs of the Swarm. Mm-hmm. They're from the States, and the other one's called Within Destruction. They're from Slovenia.
Okay.
Great,
brutal already.
They're such good bands. Anyone who's listening that likes heavy metal needs to check out Within Destruction or Sons of the Swarm. Anyway, we don't really sound like that. Do you know what a blast beat is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those bands have blast beats all set. We don't have a single blast beat in our songs.
Interesting.
So it's kind of we sound like them, but we're a slower tempo.
Yeah.
But a lot of similar elements. So anyway, we're a wild card, right? And their fans are bridging into that kind of metal fan where literally Die Hard buys every piece of merch that the band has. Yeah, has all the vinyl.
I think the word devout is it. They're devout, man.
Easily. Just absolutely obsessed. And they're once they become a fan, it's they're never not a fan unless the band releases a really bad album. So we usually just play.
They're so fickle. You're so fickle, kids.
No diss to the kids in the Sydney metalcore hardcore scene, but
no.
The level of fandom that true metalheads have compared to the kids that my band generally will play for, it's completely different, man. And so for us to go play to kids that might be into us for maybe 6 months or one EP, and then they might be jumping on to the next thing, and that's totally fine because I did the same thing as well.
Totally, man. Everyone does that, and it's sampling bands.
That.
You sample bands, man.
Yeah, and like you go through phases of liking. But man, like these fans that these dudes brought out, I couldn't believe like the appreciation they had for us, and they were like, and like these are kids that like will message us now, and I'm like, they weren't talking shit. They were like, you guys are awesome. We love you. I love you.
And being a Wildcard, you're worrying about that as well. You're like, are we going to fit into this lineup or not?
I thought we were going to get booed off stage or something. But no, we got like really well, like we were well perceived. Like people were into it. And I think it translated well. I think it was good that we stood out a little bit and didn't sound like those bands.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? Like, I've done heaps of shows, right? And you do some shows that were, a lot of music that I've done, you'd fit in with like, heavy metal or hard rock. Yeah, it's on that doorway, right? Yeah. And I would try to put on shows that sounded the same. And after a while, I learnt what to do because, like, you'll burn out your audience. Like most bands that have gotten a little bit of the way down the road, they'll learn that one of the first lessons you learn with your audience is you've burnt them out because you've done a show, and then you go do another show, and you're like, oh, not everyone's here this time because they've already seen the show. Yeah. So you can burn out your audience, and the way I figured out to slow the burn of an audience is to put, like you say, wildcards throughout the setup, the whole lineup, make them different bands. Put on a punk metal band, put on a new metal band, put on a rap and metal band, and then put on your hard rock band, right? Put a variety of bands on and change the frequency through the night. Yeah, because you have your standard band goers, right? You'll have the other bands that are watching the other bands. So, all right, there's some crowd there. Yeah, they brought some friends with them that are supporting them. Yeah, there's some of your ticket sales. Yeah. They brought their girlfriends. There's some more ticket sales, unless they're not on the list. Don't put them on the list. Buy a ticket. And then you've got
the old guest. Oh, put us on the door, bro. that old chestnut.
Support the band, bro. It's 10 fucking bucks, man. $20, whatever. Pay the ticket price, man. It's not a big deal. And you might have your resident guests. So the resident guests from each band. And if you take different bands there, you keep the women happy, right? Keep the women happy because a lot of girlfriends go, well, I've heard this band before. Or I just hear these same bands all the time.
Well, whoever's with them, like they need to be entertained as well. Yeah. Like, everyone at the show has to be entertained, regardless of what their place is. Like everyone's like attracted to who's on stage. Doesn't matter like if you're the sound guy or the security. Everyone's kind of got to be happy.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, look, I've only ever met one happy sound guy, maybe two. Two happy sound guys I've ever met in my life. Most sound guys are fucking miserable, man.
Fair enough.
They are. They're just like, I'm not moving the mic. Fuck you. I'm like, oh, fuck, come on, man.
It's tough out there, baby. Look, I kind of get it, to be fair. Like,
yeah, I do.
Because I've also met...
The weight of the world can crush your spirits.
Yeah, there's some prick bands too, man.
That's true. I've worked with some prick bands, man.
Yeah, there's some prick bands, and like I'm not even going to try to deny it. I've straight up been one of those prick bands, man. And
I've been in a prick band.
I get it.
I've been the prick in the band.
Yeah, like these dudes are rocking up, probably getting paid like $100 to do sound for this show. They got all these little entitled shits, just being like, make us sound better. It's the sound guy's fault or whatever. Like
more foldback.
Fucking more.
We'll give you more fallback. It's gonna get feedback, baby. No, give me more.
I guess everyone's just got to be good. Everyone's got to get good, and everyone's got to respect each other. And it's like everyone there is there for the love of it. Whether you're hating it on the night or not, the bigger picture, you're there because you just fucking love music. Whether you're making $50 or maybe you're making $5,000, you're doing sound for like somewhere a really good venue, man. Right? Everyone's just there for the same thing, and I think like it's so easy for people to just forget like that everyone else is in the same situation. We need to just like everyone just needs to just chill the fuck out. And it's like,
and remember why we're doing it.
Literally, it's so easy to forget that, and
it can become a job and run of the mill. It can, and you don't want that. Like, especially as the muso on the stage, man. I want it to go smoothly, or if problems happen, you want to iron through that problem, right?
Yeah, dude.
But I can't. There's few things to compare. Like performing on camera or performing on stage is they're similar. But different, or being behind a camera and shooting a gig. Like I've shot plenty of gigs as well. Yeah. It's shooting gigs for me is like shooting race cars. Like,
hectic.
It really is, man.
Shit.
Yeah, think about
this. That's such a good way to look at it. Fuck.
Well, it is because like what you're trying to do is sell the angles, right? Man. So when you look at a car, you're looking like when you interview a race car driver. When you finish the interview, you go and shoot their car.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so you go, oh, okay, I'm going to get the headlight and then look down this line, and then I'm going to do a pan across the car, and then I'm going to look at the steering wheel, then I'm going to look at the interior,
Yeah.
then I'm going to get someone to open the bonnet, and then someone point at something, and then I'm going to look at the rear of the car, then I'm going to get the mags, then I'm going to get it in motion driving out, right? I want to get all these shots so I can put it over the top of the interview, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
When you're shooting music, man, you're shooting, instead of cars, you're shooting instruments.
True.
You're shooting instruments, man. You want to see strings going on an instrument, and you want to see a player behind it.
All the details.
All of those aesthetics, right?
There's so much going on.
So much going on. Like, you can do a wide shot of an entire show. Boring.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's your safety, man. That's a safety shot.
Yeah, man.
You can get someone up there and just give them a bit of a brief and go, man, just do a pull focus while you're there. Go on up on the strings when they're doing a solo. Yeah. Make it, get the focus out and pull it back in, Yeah. You can get all of these nuances, and then the videography itself becomes a part of the art as well.
Yeah.
Because then if you get good camera operators, they're a part of the music because they're filming to the music.
Oh, man, it complements the music so much.
If it's done properly, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
Bro. And also, like, I've noticed, like, from shooting live video, because I do photo and video. That's my two things that I do now when it's creative stuff. I do a little bit of design, but it's primarily photo and video. And, like, man, when I will watch a band and they'll be like, okay, they're all right. Like, they definitely have some stuff that they could work on, okay? And then, like, I shot them, right? And I get home and I'm, like, editing the video, and then the video's done. I'm like, fuck, like, not to, like, talk me up, but, like, just anyone to shoot this video. And it doesn't matter who did it. Like, even if you did like half the job that I've just done right now, like you're telling the world that this band is better than what it actually was. And there's nothing wrong with that because I think that's sick, because what that does is then the band gets the video and they look back and they go, we fucking killed it, man. That's sick. And they're only seeing all the cool shit they did.
Yeah, it's all the gold. It's all the gold.
Yeah, and they go, I'm going to do all that cool shit again because that looks mad. I'm looking back at it now.
Reflective.
And that's sick.
Yeah, those reflective moments.
And then, like, that can help the band, like, look cooler. And
it raises their morale as well. Gives them content to boast about online. Yeah. And that's what you want. You want to, because that's what being in a band is. You're boasting about your music. You're going, check this track out, man. It's fucking awesome. I want you to listen to it.
Absolutely.
And I want you to see this clip that we shot for it. You're boasting. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, because you're an artist, right? Yeah. And being an artist, I've said this several times on the podcast, man. Like, artists is a paradox. You're selfish because you want to have that experience. I want to have that experience on stage of screaming into a microphone. Yep. I want to have that experience as an editor, cutting the video that I shot for it. Yep. I want to have that experience as an artist. But you're selfless because you go, well, I want to entertain these people. Yeah. I'm going to give everything that I've got so that they can feel awesome. Yeah. And I'm going to do that during the production. I'm going to do that in post-production. I'm going to do that online. I'm going to make people feel good as much as I can. Yeah. And that's where you're selfless. So it's a paradox, man. Being an artist is a paradox. You're feeding both of those mechanisms. Yeah. And they have to be. If one's lacking, that means something else is lacking. You got to really revisit the content and what you're doing and why you're doing it. I think artists always have that moment where, when you're young and you go, I'm going to be a fucking rock star. I'm going to go out and do these things, right? And then you find out the realities of the world and you go, this is fucking hard.
Bro, it's brutal.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
Severely brutal.
Dude, we're having those every day. I guarantee you've had those this week.
Yeah, totally. Like, the imposter mon stuff.
We're having that every day, every week. Man, I love that you said the morale thing, like about the band. Like, they see the video and they go, wow, fuck, we look sick.
Purpose.
And they get the morale. Like, man, I'm a strong believer that, like, anyone has the capability of being motivated. And that can come in so many forms of, like, in so many sources. And I think, like, you would see this, man. Like, I mean, like, you're, like, on a set, right? And, like, you rock up and then, like, maybe the person in charge is just, like, having a bad day. And they're being a prick. And, like, no one wants to talk to them. And everyone's, like, having
unapproachable.
Everyone's having a bad time. And, like, all everyone can think about is, like, everyone like goes to, like, have lunch and, like, gets, like, or goes to get a coffee together or whatever. And, like, it's the first thing they talk about. Like, oh yeah, like, Harry's I'm sorry to anyone named Harry, but that's not an actual person. But, like, this guy, man, he's a fucking prick today. Like, why didn't he fucking do this and do that? And it's like, how about, imagine, right, that guy was just, like, Harry or whatever, the guy who's being a prick, just wasn't a prick. And then you go get coffee and you go talk about, like, man, I'm so pumped about this next take. Hey, it's going to be sick. Yeah. Like, what are you thinking? Like, what about this? So it's like, that negative energy and that when
it washes over.
It spreads like a cancer, dude.
It does, man. And misery loves company. That's where that saying comes from, man. Misery loves company.
Yeah.
If you start being miserable, other things will become miserable because it loves the attention of being miserable.
Legit.
And then as well, I think misery in that sense as well is also when you want to procrastinate, like, working out, like when you're doing curls, man. If you're doing curls, there's a part of your body that starts to lean forward.
Yeah.
And you cheat at it, and that's why the mirror's there, right?
Because it's getting harder.
Because it's getting harder, and your body's trying to figure out a shortcut.
Yep.
And I find that misery is one of those procrastination
it's going into
tools.
survival mode.
Yeah, I can start. Look, I can evaluate myself and go, this is going to fail, and then it fails, and then I can say to myself, told ya. That was going to fail. I can then make myself right. Yeah. And that's a terrible way to procrastinate.
Of course.
And it's so self-destructive because it's scary.
Of course.
It's scary being an artist, man. People are going to judge you.
But dude, you're doing curls when you're editing a video. Let's imagine you've I don't have to imagine because you know this. Like you get all your shots and you've got like whether it's in your timeline or it's sitting in the project, whatever it might be, you got all your shots and you're editing shot after shot with the music or whatever it's edited to. And it's like rep after rep. And you get to a point where you're like, oh, man, I just need a break.
Step away.
I've got to step away. And, like, that's when you're getting to failure. But, like, the amazing thing is, dude, like, so much of the time, you've actually got so much more juice in the tank.
Oh, dude, there is. And
you got so much more juice in the tank.
I've figured out ways around this, right? Like, same when you're building
Tell me about them. What do you do?
Same when you build your muscles, right? If you go and lift, if you go and bench press your heaviest bell, right? So your heaviest weight, your max. If you do that, if you did like 6 reps of your heaviest weight, and then you waited a minute and did it again, you'd be gassed.
Yeah, right.
You have to wait.
Yeah,
you have to wait.
You need time.
You need 10 minutes before you pick it up again.
Yeah,
and in fact, it's better for 20 minutes because then you can really do those reps correctly and actually, cut your muscles and build that glycogen. Right, you can do that.
Yeah,
it's the same with working out when you're editing. What I do is I do 45 minutes.
Just chunks, and then you're like 15 minutes
15 minutes off.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yep, I'm going to go have a dart. I'm going to go have
put a bit of spice on it.
Yeah.
Bit of spice, get a beer.
Step away, step back in, and then you bring new perspective as well because then you've got the history of the edit in your mind that you've just done.
You just kind of like decompress.
Yeah, and you're like, I put that clip first. Oh no, that's actually better the other way around. Now that I think of it, it actually brings fresh perspective. 4 hours out of a day, you're going to get 4 hours of that productivity. Yeah. If you want to get another 4 hours, you need to step away for a couple of hours and then come back and get another 4.
Legit.
So spread it. My advice to you is you can totally. There is way more in the tank, and then if you double down, do 8 hours of that if you're on the deadline.
Yeah. And
if you step away for that 15 minutes, if you will get more productivity stepping away each 45 minutes than you will doing 3 hours straight. Guarantee it.
Absolutely. So I got a good example of that. Like I'm literally going through this this week. So I guess bit of context with where I'm at. So I just actually finished up with my full-time job of like 2.5 years, beginning of June. I wrapped it up so that like I put in my resignation like 3 months ago, right? But I wrapped it up so that like I finished up like a day or two before I went on this tour. Did the tour and then spent a few days just kind of hanging out in Melbourne, just bit by myself, bit with some mates. Came back and the plan is to get like I'm now full time doing photo and video, which is amazing, and I'm living the dream. Like, I've wanted this for 3 years now. That I'm waiting for COVID to
the abyss, man. You're on the abyss.
Yeah, I'm here now. Like I've thought about this for weeks and months on end, right?
Yeah.
So I'm here now anyway, and like I get back and like my first day back, I get home off the plane. Like I've gained all this weight because I've just been like smoking weed every night with the bands and just eating like Doritos and just eating like a piece of shit. Okay. And like I feel like crap. Look, I get home, I go straight to the gym, and I go straight to the grocery store, and all I get is like fresh produce and like stuff that's good for me, stuff that I want to eat that like I know is good for me. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, for 30 days, I need to just not drink, not smoke.
Yeah, good regimen.
Like I'm trying to do like the no carb thing. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. So anyway, I go to the grocery store, do all that sort of, get myself set up, and then I spend a day just...
Fucking love carbs though, bro.
Oh, dude.
Carbs.
Okay, just quickly.
I got love it all.
I'm doing no carb, but I just got Guzman, the Mexican joint, on the way here, and I got like a burrito bowl.
Oh, I love the burrito because it's got everything in it.
It's got everything. And I'm saying to the chick, I'm like, can I get a burrito bowl with the shredded mushroom? Because I'm vegetarian. With the shredded mushroom, no rice. Just put extra beans in. I'll just accept the beans. And then like I seen the picture. It's got like 6 like what do you call it? Like 6 like corn chips.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I guess I'll just like let them just stay in there. Anyway, it comes, I get it, and then I'm like, I'm eating it, and I'm like the corn chips are on the side.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'll have one, and I munch on one, and I'm like, this is fucking naughty. Don't eat the rest of the chips, and I left it. And I didn't touch them. But
I'm terrible to eat the rest of the chips.
So yeah, carbs are amazing, but they're also dangerous.
Oh man, I like going to those places for the burrito, man. I just say to them, run it through the garden, man. Just run it through, man. Put everything in it.
Put it all in. Sick.
But no. But back to so you got back from tour.
Yeah, so I got back from tour. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna eat really well. So and then I'm like, now it's the time. This is it. This is the time where it's day one of starting the business up full time again. It's been 3 years since I was able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I had all these plans in my mind. Anyway, I'm getting ready for my first shoot. It's like a corporate shoot, for like a
corporate. Love corporate shoots.
Yeah, but like I'm not gonna say.
You got a fun one.
It was a fun company name.
Okay.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
say
no, don't mention the name.
It was like a fun company. And like, anyway, I'm getting ready for it, and then I smash the shoot, and then I'm just like, next day, got something else on, got a day of editing, this, and then it came to like Friday last week.
Yeah.
And I'm probably like, I want to say I'm like 8 or 9 days in of just like working. But it's like the very start of like after taking a huge break. So I'm like, yeah, man, I could do every day for the next month and I'll be sweet.
Yeah.
Ego's like, yeah, man, you're starting a business and all this sort of stuff. And then I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, do I feel depressed?
Yeah.
I'm like, why the fuck do I feel depressed?
You're winning, right? Why, you just won. Why are you depressed?
Yeah, I'm like, do I need to like go like revise my antidepressants and all this sort of shit? I'm like, have I had like a bunch of sugar the night before and all this sort of stuff?
Yeah,
anyway,
what's the deal? Yeah,
I'm like, what's going on? And then like next day goes by, I still feel like feel crap. Next day goes by, feel crap. And I'm at this shoot on the Sunday, like on Sunday this went. I'm like, I was really looking forward to the shoot, and the shoot came, and I was like, not super stoked.
Yeah.
And I know.
I've had that feeling too,
Yeah.
man. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and then I got home, and then I went like, I could have stuck around and shot other bands.
Yeah.
So it was at this like show that was like shooting some really big bands. Anyway, I get back home and I'm like, I should have stayed. Why didn't I stay? Anyway, gonna go to bed. And like before I'm going to bed, I'm talking to my girlfriend, and she's like, maybe it's because you just haven't had a day off since you got back from tour. And I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, you haven't. Yeah, it's true though.
Like,
it's totally true, man.
I'm not Superman, and no one is. And I love that, man. I love that your ego will push you, but it'll also break you.
It will break
like
it, yeah, man. I've experienced the same thing, man. Like, because like, if I've got clients, man, I don't say no to clients. Like, if they're a good client,
it's your bread and butter.
Well, don't get me wrong. You got the odd client where you go, yeah, no, you're too hard basket, buddy.
Yeah.
But generally, you go, yeah, no, I got to take the client. And you go, okay, so I'm near the point of double book. I'm nearly double booked, and I will push it right up to the line of double booked. Like, I'll go from, like, I love it. Like, if I get 3 jobs in a day, if I do a morning and if I can time it where I do a morning gig and do a lunchtime gig and then do an evening gig, I'm stoked. But then when you evaluate that, you're like,
that's a lot, man.
That's a lot. That's a lot of brain thinking. Like, that's a lot of brain power to do that.
I think it's the problem is like your attention's so divided. It's not even the fact of like, you can physically time that.
That's true, yeah.
But your attention, so like you're on this one job, your morning job, but you're probably thinking about your job that's 2 jobs away. Yeah. So then like,
well, I've got to do the edit as well.
You got to edit.
You do a shoot and then you got to go do the edit. So there's 2-part compartments to the job, right?
That's it. And so then like you're on shoot A, thinking about shoot C. You fuck up shoot A. Good luck on shoot B, maybe. Sorry for the testy pop.
But then
the mic pop.
But then that's all right. Everyone does it. But no, but you're right though. Then you go and evaluate, and then you start seeing the footage you shot. Like, it's okay. It's in focus, and you've got the right frames, and you're like, don't remember shooting that. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah. And that's like what you say, man. Your ego goes that far. You just go, I can't say no to that money, and as well, not just the money, the respect. Yeah. Like, it's about my brand.
Yeah.
Like, if I say no to a client in that regard, that means like I wasn't available. Are they going to come back to me again?
Yeah.
Because they go, well, I'm always if I'm not available, I make myself available.
Yeah.
And I move heaven and earth to do a gig.
Yeah.
All the time.
Of course.
Even working full time, I'll move it around. Yeah. And keep everything equitable as I can.
Yeah.
And there's some jobs where you go, oh, man, I told him 9:30. I know I'm going to be 15 minutes late. And when you're the principal, and you show up 15 minutes late, that's now you're crossing the line of double booked.
Yeah, that's it. It's like you start to fuck things up.
Yeah.
And that's not good. You don't want to fuck things up. So it's
quality.
a fine...
You need quality.
Yeah, it's a fine line of like just trying to overwork it, you know, impress the clients, but also do a good job. And it's very hard. When you're overworked, you're not very good at doing what you do. That's anyone, man. Like, that's anyone.
Well, I was so close to be whinging about corporate jobs about a minute ago. I just realised my last 2 corporate jobs were actually quite fun. So I shouldn't bitch too much, man.
Dude, do you
big shout out to the guy. I can't shout you out, but you know who you are.
Do you remember? Have you watched that movie Joe Dirt?
Yeah, man.
You know, like towards the end, he's like having that like epiphany moment. Like he runs into like the hillbilly guy, and he's like, "Life is what you make it." And he's like something about like you like to see people naked or something. It's like it's so true. Like literally, like yeah. And it kind of goes back to what we were saying before about like when there's that prick on set. But what about when there's that fucking legend on set?
Yeah, man.
And he's like fucking like doesn't matter what happens. He's just like, this is the fucking best day of my life. And like it's just that is infectious as well.
Totally. And you can do that. And as the principal, you've got to do that. You've got to bring it. You've got to bring it. It's the same when you're on stage, man. Yeah. Doesn't matter that you've got a head cold showing up, man. You've got to scream into that microphone.
Too bad, baby.
Too bad. You the show's booked.
That's it, son.
The money's down. You got to go win. You're going to go win or not. You're going to go win or not.
Yeah, you rocked up. If you couldn't play the show, you wouldn't be in the venue right now.
That's right.
So just
suck it up.
Deal with it. Yeah,
suck it up.
Work with it. Yeah.
And you've got to go to that line. But yeah, well, just to do a callback though. We're talking about videography.
Yeah.
Got into videography through graphic design. What was that? So you had that teacher that you were inspired by in high school.
Yeah, she was kind of like pushing me to do graphic design. And this is going to sound a little weird. My mum used to go to these card readings or tarot readings. And no diss to anyone does those, but like, I mean, I think...
I do tarot. I got tarot.
I think the woman might have
a different perspective though.
Oh, I think the woman might have just like pulled a lot of it out of her, and like, and then she was like, "Oh, so like your son's gonna be this or whatever." But, like my mum came home, she's like, "Oh, she thinks you're gonna be a graphic designer," and I was like, "Oh, cool." Anyway, then I got in graphic design, and I did become a graphic designer. Like oh god, this soda water gas.
Man, see, I do the sneaky burp. You got to do the sneaky burp.
What's the sneaky burp?
So you haven't seen me do the sneaky burp.
What's the technique?
I'll show you. Just do.
I guess that's the idea, right? Okay, gotcha.
I've done at least 6 sneaky burps during this whole conversation.
That's mad.
Yeah, you just got to go.
It's because you put in those reps, bro.
Yeah, I've got the burp reps up, man.
You've got the burp reps.
Yeah, I've got the stealth burping.
I love it. Anyway, this chick's telling my mum, like, Phil, my mum, like, he's gonna be a graphic designer. Anyway, I've become a graphic designer. I don't know if that means that tarot readings or card readings are real or not. But everyone has their thing, and no diss to that. Go for it. Like it's actually kind of sick because I think spiritual stuff's actually really important. Even if it's not real, I think it's still. I think we need hope, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like,
we need hope.
I can see the woo in it, like the whole idea of okay, did Jupiter have an effect on the waters in your mother's womb when you were born?
But dude,
did it? Maybe it did. Maybe
absolutely.
It didn't.
I think of some pretty crazy stuff.
But when you read into things, maybe you're reading into yourself.
Yeah.
Especially with tarot readings. Like, I don't see the woo in tarot readings, but I do them.
Come to think of it, I actually would like to know a little bit more about all that stuff.
I've got to get. I've got to guess. Coming. I've got a few tarot readers that are coming on soon. I've got them in the next couple of months.
Okay, cool. I might have to watch those.
Oh man, I talk to crazy people, man. I just love talking to crazy dudes, man, and gals, man. Like, I had this one guy who was saying, man, you always have artists on the show. I go, that's not true, man. Like, I talk to interesting people that have been through either triumphant scenarios or difficult scenarios. Yeah. And also talk to people that are fringe. Yeah, I love talking to fringe dwellers, man.
What's a fringe dweller? I don't know. I've never heard that term.
Like someone that does tarot. Okay, is a fringe dweller. Like they're on the fringe, right? They're not a Catholic that is in the Liberal Party that is wearing khaki pants and going to work.
But they're like they acknowledge the spiritual world.
Yeah, totally.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay,
cool. They're definitely someone that's fringe. Yeah, they're on their belief structure is outside the norm.
Yeah, it's okay. They're not. Yeah, okay. I get.
Yeah. And cool. I love talking to people like that because I'm sick. I'm in regards a fringe dweller. Like it's strange for me. Like I collect crystals not because they're spiritual, because I have a geologist's mind. Like, I love geology.
I heard that in a podcast that you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm an avid scientist, man. And I mean that. Like I go into rabbit holes of, like I actually used to pride myself in going to universities like because it was before I went to university. Like, this is when I was a soldier.
Yeah.
I used to like going to university campus bars so that I can take on geologists. You know, like, because, you know, you're talking in bars and you're like,
I talk to them and
they start talking
and
shop, and then I go, oh yeah, I know about ice See, so you're talking about like continental drift and how they,
Dude, sick.
you know, like how continents sit in the
Mad.
asthenosphere, which is above the mantle, which is the upper mantle, through, you know, which is magmatic movement. You're like,
Dude, you could
they'll be
start
like-
a fight club for geologists that just like meet in like a back alley and like throw down with like, yeah. So you think you know this much about the tectonic plates?
Yeah, well,
fucking think again, motherfucker.
yeah, man, I'll take you down the subduction zone, man. We're gonna go Vulcan on this, man.
Shit,
you know, I used to like flexing my muscles in that way and going goodwill hunting on that shit, right? I used
But
to
the
love doing
ego's
it.
taking you there.
Totally,
And you're learning. But
Totally
you're learning
ego-driven.
from it.
Totally ego driven. But the irony is, I'd go to those same bars and play heavy metal. So, you know,
Sick. Okay, cool.
because universities are quite welcoming. If you guys don't know, if you're trying to get it in, university bars are pretty good. There's other bars out there. The Valve Bar was one of them. I think Mosh Pit
in Newtown.
Yeah, that's a good access one. The Hideaway, I don't think that may be running, or can't
It
remember.
is. I
Hideaway's
think
running?
it's called. I could be wrong. I think it might have changed name to the Highway Bar. I think they got a different management and they just changed name slightly.
But you can get on those bills, man.
Yeah.
You go talk to those guys and you can eventually get on a bill.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've gone back. I've diverged again.
So yeah,
Back onto graphic design.
graphic design. So yeah,
Tarot cards.
yeah. So anyway, I'm finishing school and like I'm trying to start a band.
And a tarot reader predicted this.
Yeah. She predicted I was going to be a graphic designer, and I did become a graphic designer.
Yeah.
I went to Billy Blue Design College with Jan, and Jan being the guy producing this right now.
And a big shout out to Jan, his
Yeah,
first
Jan.
solo producing. What you're doing an all right job, man.
Oh, thanks, guys.
You're doing an all right
Thanks,
job. I'll criticise you later.
guys. That's fine. That's fine.
That's life,
I
baby.
didn't expect this much.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm like ending school, and I'm like, all I want to do, because I was at school right till year 12.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to get high marks. I just knew that if I got my HSC, high school certificate, I don't know if anyone internationally would be not knowing. But anyway.
Well, I only have 6% in the States, and I've got 3% in Ireland for some reason.
Okay,
The
well,
Irish love the show, man.
for that 6 and 3%, it's just like, it's what we just call like our final exams, okay?
Yeah.
And it determines if you'll go to university or not, or like where you want to go.
TER, whatever it was called.
Yeah. So, like, I just knew that if I need to get a HSC, I'd be able to go do graphic design either at TAFE or a private college. That's all I need to do.
It's a definitely foot in the door doing your
Yeah.
high school certificate. That's for sure.
I didn't need to do the thing that gets me into a uni, because I could go to private college for graphic design. Anyway.
Yeah, true.
But I'm like...
There is a difference. There's totally a difference.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'll snag that, and then I can rack off and go do my music. And literally, like, you finish... I don't know if it was like for when you finished school, but like, when you finished school, when I did...
I finished school last century.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. So...
Heavy, I know, heavy.
Sorry, dude.
It was 1998, I believe. Like, I saw the turn of the century, man. Fucking hell, man. I was listening to Marilyn Manson during that. That was the last day on Earth, I believe. So they thought the world was going to end in
Y2K,
2000.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah, so... Like, we finish school, like, in the third last semester, right? And then you get the last semester to just study and do your exams. You're not at school, though, okay?
Oh, wow, okay.
Which is really cool.
That's
so
pretty
it's
cool,
like,
actually.
Yeah, so it's like you finish school. So you start year 12, like your last year of school, like in the last term of the year before. Whatever. All I'm thinking about is I'm like, dude, as soon as I finish that last day of school, and it's like your exam time, I'm just going to be in rehearsal spaces. I need to start a band, and that's all I'm going to do. And I did do that.
That's
like,
that's the best place to start.
I was a
think
guitarist.
Everyone has a different journey, but
Yeah.
I think that's the best place to start. That's
Yeah.
how I started.
Yeah.
Totally.
I was in a really rubbish band in high school with some best mates, and I was kind of doing vocals. But then, like, when I was like gearing up, I was like, I need to start a band. Like, you can't be a vocalist and then like just imagine guitars. You have to be a guitarist. So I became a guitar. I was trying to be a guitarist, awful guitarist, so bad.
I reckon I'm way worse than you, dude.
That's okay.
I reckon
That's
I reckon
fine.
I could take the shitty guitar sweepstakes with you.
At least we can own it.
Yeah,
That's the main part.
If you think you're shit at guitar, we should play guitar, man, and you will discover worse shit than you know.
The sad thing is, I'll probably end up being worse. But anyway, so I'm like,
We'll see. We'll see after the show.
Who can be a worse guitarist? So I'm like, all I need to do is leave school and do. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about anything else. I was like, I'll go do like graphic design whenever.
Yeah.
So I do that, and like first year out of school, nothing's really happening. No one's really coming together, and it wasn't until like the end of like 2011. I meet these dudes that I'm still really good friends with. One of them I was actually editing their wedding video today.
Oh,
the guitarist.
Videos. Yeah. Terrifying. It's more terrifying than any edit, I reckon, a wedding video.
Pretty full on.
It's pretty full on because there's so much emotions involved. Anyway, we'll go down that road.
There is a lot of emotion involved. So, hey, there it is.
There it is. Oh, wow.
So then...
Are you whacking that to line, bro? Whack that to line. Can we do a shameless plug? Do you want a shameless plug right now? Can we do a shameless plug?
We've just been talking about like brutal metal, and then like these happy families.
So we've got Blake Cubby Weddings. Check him out at Blake Cubby Weddings on Instagram. Hashtag do my wedding.
Do my wedding. That's it. Yeah. So where am I going? So I start this band. It's called Elogist. Thank you, sir. It's called Elogist, and we record our first single, actually in Western Sydney, at this studio called Electric Sun Studios.
I know that studio.
Yeah, most people do. They've done everything from like rap to pop punk to everything. Man. Like so much has gone through there. It's
but I'm a music whore. I've played in every venue and every recording studio in town.
Amazing,
really.
Amazing.
It's disgusting.
I love it. I love it. So anyway, we do this, and then all of a sudden I like forget about graphic design. I forget about graphic design for a hot minute.
So yeah, it went on the back burner.
I'm like music, and then like I'm working this job as well, and like obviously like peak just like want to do everything at once because I have all this. It's my life. I can do whatever. My parents were amazing, and were just so cool with me doing whatever the hell I wanted to. To a part, they just didn't even give a fuck.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty good, man.
As long as I was staying on top of the...
I had the different spectrum. I had the, like, strict...
Go to the military and be a soldier.
Yeah. You got to... because I was the 5th soldier in my family.
Wow.
Like, I'm, like, all of my grandfathers are soldiers.
So you had to do at least 4 years, right?
Yeah. I had to do
You did 10 years.
Yeah, I did 10, yeah. Fuck. Look, I was born to do it. I was very good at it. I was very good at it, man. Like, I know the terminology is the same. It's like, you know, what do you call it when you take a photograph? It's called a shot.
Yeah.
When you look through an aperture in a camera.
Yeah.
You look through an aperture in a
aiming.
rifle.
Yeah,
you're aiming.
yeah,
You're aiming at something and you're shooting it.
Yeah, shit. That's crazy to think about.
Dude, it gets further. Like when you start a set, you call action.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's I've talked about this before. So many intersections. They're crazy. Like they used to. The drums of war. There's You get what I'm talking about? The intersection of art and war, right?
Yeah.
Like I've experienced that firsthand. I'm telling you, like war and art are exclusive.
I have like the perfect segue.
It really is, because you think about performing metal, and you think about writing a song. Like I have had a battle.
Yeah.
They even call it Battle of the Bands, right? They even call it that.
We're at war.
We're at war, right? But one's theatrical and one's creative and one's quite destructive, and it's life and death. I prefer the former, but I can certainly say that that's why I like film, right? Film is the intersection of all art. And film, even the word production comes out of propaganda, right? So the propaganda machine and cinematography, these are all things that were built by our enemies, man. They were built by the Nazis, man. If you look at cinematography and angles and how to light a subject and how to film a sequence, these were done by the Nazis, man. But yeah, you could look at space technology the same way.
Yeah.
The V2 rocket is the bell housing model that SpaceX uses today. That technology has continued on to space exploration. There's the same with art. They used to hire artists to paint ships, different angles. Like they use cubism.
Yeah. To I guess they would do that to deter enemies as a defense, right?
No, well you can't see which way the ship is traveling on the horizon.
Yeah.
So you can't preempt its target with a torpedo.
Gotcha.
So it fucked up their targeting systems.
That's incredible.
Yeah, man. But I always said this, man. When the Wright brothers made the first flight, I don't think they were thinking, we can strap some bombs to this fucking thing and like fuck some people up, bro. You know, I don't think they thought that.
Yeah.
I thought they were more concentrated on flight and human endeavour. Same with Von Braun, man. He was making V2 rockets to bomb London.
Okay.
But I just don't believe when he was a child that he thought about bombing London.
No.
I think he was dreaming about going to the moon.
No one's dreaming about bombing anything when you're a child.
Yeah, you're dreaming about going to the moon, man.
Yeah,
the man in the moon. That's what
Yeah.
we're thinking about. If you look at film when we were like doing movies about going to the moon in 1910,
Yeah.
years later we actually did it. You
Yeah.
know, depends what tinfoil hat you wear.
Or did we?
Or did we? But we went and did it. These intersections of art are everywhere.
Yeah.
And but my argument is that art happened first.
Yeah.
Like we painted the cave walls before we sharpened the stick.
Yeah.
That's just my optimistic view on the world.
Yeah.
I believe that we did. I believe that we looked at a wall and gone, that's ugly, let's make it pretty.
Yep.
Rather than, I've got no food, that guy's got food, I'm going to go stab him.
You can go eat berries.
Yeah.
Get some berries.
And I think that's, I really do think that, like, because you could look at a spear, right, and go, there's some artistry there. There's an art to creating weapons. There is.
There's art in everything.
There's
bro.
art in everything.
Literally everything. Everything is a art form.
But it's the precursor.
Yeah. If you're a bricklayer,
Totally.
you're an artist, bro. Because you can be a shit bricklayer and you can be a fucking phenomenal bricklayer.
Yeah. Totally,
And,
man.
dude-
And you'd be paid handsomely if you're good at it.
Handsomely.
Yeah.
And it's a absolute honest profession.
Yeah.
And it's also like who's never gonna need roofs over their head, man?
But I'll say this though, like with a bricklayer, the results of their work are obvious. When you're an artist, the results of your work aren't obvious.
You don't see that return on investment immediately.
You have to lay down to get it later.
Yeah.
Like when I've made TV shows, you don't collect when you make it. You collect when you sell it.
Yeah.
You have to make, and it's all artwork. You don't buy a painting before it's painted.
Yeah.
It has to be painted first before it can be sold.
You need the buy-in.
You need to buy, yeah.
Sell me.
And you need to sell someone that product.
Yeah.
And it's a market.
Yeah.
And even marketing is an art, man. Like like we're talking about like doing music and film, right? You got to promote your band. And you've probably done all the posters for your bands, right? Because you're the graphic designer.
Like I said, I was.
So yeah, they're leaning on you, man. So I can hear in this conversation because I know what it's like to be lent on as the guy.
It was kind of like a combination of like, I'm in a band and it's great that I'm also a graphic designer and that's gonna like help me market the band, but it gets to a point where it just becomes really exhausting and it's like
it's 24/7.
My role with the band that I want it to be is I want to be the vocalist and I want to rock up, create music with my boys, hang out, have a good time with my boys, and play a show and all that. And I mean, like, I'd rather work hard on my day job to make enough money to support another artist to then support my band. Because, like, yeah.
Well, you're talking about it before. Like when you do the collaboration in the band, everyone has a vested interest. Yeah. But when you're the videographer of the video clip in your band and you're editing that, everyone else has a vested interest, but they haven't actually participated other than the performance of the visions, right? Yeah. They haven't done the data wrangling. Yeah. They haven't done the camera settings. No. They haven't done the shot planning. They haven't done the execution of those shots. They haven't done the management of someone else that is doing those shots for you, because you then have to brief that person.
There's 101 million things that happen.
That's just making it. Yeah. We haven't promoted the video yet. Once you start promoting the video, now all of a sudden you're a lawyer, you're a marketer, you're a promotion person, you're a social media representative. Because now you're a writer. Because now you got to write text that goes along with all this media that you've made. Yeah. And if you've made the media, then the expectation on the band is, well, then you write it, right? So you do the social media thing. Now all of a sudden, everyone in the band, the drummer's job is to be a drummer. And your job is to write vocals, perform vocals, practice vocals, be a videographer, a editor, a promoter, a graphic designer, a lawyer, an agent. Because now you're probably doing the agent.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, you're booking the gigs too, right?
Master of none.
You're booking the gigs too, right? No, you got someone booking the gigs for you too.
So
lucky devil.
Yeah, I know. We've had like a really good kind of setup within the band. I'm not even talking about roles outside of the band, but like our guitarist Ryan, he's an absolute legend of a businessman. Like he's really good with managing his finances and the band's finances.
Yeah, so you've got to be a treasurer. You've got to be an accountant.
Yeah. Well, there's so many roles. And I think because like he's the one I started this band with, right? And he's been really good with that sort of stuff. But like,
it usually is two hombres that do it.
Yeah, it's two.
Yeah.
It's two.
Big shout out, Steve. You know what I'm saying, baby.
Yeah, Steve. You mad dog. Yeah. So like that worked really well for a while, and like I think too. We're probably going to go through some role delegation over the next 6 to 12 months. Now,
because that delegation's important.
Yeah, because I do now
Bring
have
structure.
more free time. But I think what I want to do is things that we can't outsource.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is like I want to like engage with like the people who like our band more.
Yeah.
Okay, because like
and start a conversation with it.
Yeah, I want to engage with them like in whatever format that is, social media, whatever. I don't want to spend the time designing the shirt or editing the video. I want to spend that time, like, because I'm the vocalist, I'm the front of the band. People want to talk to that. Like,
yeah, it's the same after a gig, right? Like, have you had this experience after a gig? Everyone's packing up, but you got to go work the room because everyone's got to give you the pat on the back, the fist pump, the chest pump. The handshake, whatever those things are through the crowd, you got to go work the crowd.
Yeah,
and then you got to go talk to the sound guy. Thanks for the setup. Talk to the
don't do that enough. I don't thank the sound. I thank the sound guy on stage a lot. I don't go thank them in person enough. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, no, but it's even my point. Like as well, you go talk to the venue manager. Then you talk to the bar staff, you talk to the security guy. You got to go and do all these things as the front guy.
Yeah,
and then that's why I know I'm having a big band whinge right now. And if my hombres are listening to this, they've defended me in situations before. Like, but I must say, like even collecting the bill, like these days you get invoice, right? Most of it's invoice and an electronic cash transfer. Yeah. But back in my day when we started, it was all cash.
Cash is king.
Yeah, but whoever's got the cash, possession's 9/10 of the law. Whoever's got the cash in their hands, it's their cash. Yeah. Until it's your cash. Yeah. And they'll hold on to that cash until they wanted you to go away. Shut up, go away. Essentially is their model.
People will do everything to not get
essentially, that's their model. Yeah. If you look at any dodgy promoter, their model is shut up, go away.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. And they'll use different instruments to do that. Yeah. Like they'll go, oh no, if you just hang around for an hour, I'll have the cash sorted for you.
Out the back door, baby.
Yeah, why is it taking you an hour? Like because I was really tricky back in those days. I'd actually bring someone and count the guests.
Yeah, hectic.
Because a good promoter, let me rephrase that. A good dodgy promoter will say your numbers were short. What was what number did you have? And they go, oh, you only had 100. I go, actually, we had 178. That was our count. How'd you know that? See that person over there?
Yeah, right.
They counted them for me.
Yeah.
So can we start this conversation again?
Yeah, hectic.
You had to have these mind games. Yeah. And these games to collect your cash. Yeah. And then my band knows where I'm going with this if they're listening. Like there was this one guy just wouldn't. It was $600, right? $600 for a really decent gig in Sydney. We packed the house. We were the headliner. We brought bands with us.
Is there a bar?
Yeah. But we didn't collect on bar though.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like they're making dollars. Yeah.
Yeah. They were handsomely remunerated for their venue for sure, and they collected their share off the head. Yeah. So they got their share off the head as well. So they got the first 10 plus 2 on the top. So they got 20% of each person plus the first 10. Yeah. Like you're like shit, man. You got your money, man. Like your sound guy and your security guard are paid. Yeah. You want my money. You're not having it. Yeah. I'll wait here as long as I have to, man. Yeah. And I had to come to blows, man. Like, he shoves me, and I've got him against the wall going, give me my fucking money. Yeah. Like, why doesn't all of a sudden now you're not just a promoter, you're a standover man. Yeah. Like, and that's so awkward. Like, don't get me wrong, I had to fake that shit.
That's awful, hey.
It's
sucks.
terrible. That
Yeah.
sucks, man, as an artist. Why do I... Because then I've just had this awesome gig where I had a receptive crowd.
Yeah.
Where I've been hanging... There was a really cool venue, actually. It had a crossbar over the roof. And you can hang off the crossbar and just throw yourself into the crowd.
Yeah.
It was a mad gig, like fully loose unit sort of shit, right?
Yeah.
You had a mad night. People are throwing beer at you and you're covered in sweat and piss. And you're just like, yeah, fuck yeah, like you're living the rock star moment.
Yeah.
And then you got to go have this argument with this prick because he's got a chiseled jawline with cosmetic fucking beard that he had, The quintessential asshole promoter. I know some good promoters. I'm not bagging all of you. I'm just saying some of you.
Dude, there are some incredible
some of you
promoters
pricks.
in the scene that we play in, man.
Yeah, there's some and I've had positive stories on the other end too. This is a negative story, but there's other positive stories
But
too.
dude, any industry, any role, there are fuckwits and there are legends. It's how the world goes around. It's just how it works, and it's it sucks that you have to deal with shit people.
Yeah.
It sucks that we've probably been shit people in the past. You know?
Yeah, true.
But
you do learn from your own behaviour as well. And I certainly got aggressive with people back in the day to make sure our band got paid.
Yeah.
But there's other times where I've had promoters come and meet the band, and they would have all the band names in a little, because they have their clipboard.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, how's it going, Steve? Rob? Jimmy?
Oh no.
And you're like, oh man, that's mad. I like that.
Oh
though.
no, okay, in a good way. You mean not like, hey, we're just making sure that you're in the band.
No. Welcome.
Like
So
wanting
you're the drummer.
Yeah,
You're the
okay.
drummer, Rob.
Sick.
So you're lead Jimmy. Is it Jimmy? Yeah. They'll be like, yeah, and they know your name.
Nice.
Because when someone says your name, you're like, oh, you sweetheart, man. Thank you. That's really nice of you.
Well, I think for quite a while, like, every band would have the name of the band members on like a Facebook page, but I could be wrong, but I've noticed like when I'm like, oh, like I want to go like look up this dude's Instagram from this band because I just want to like, I think I resonate with him. I want to see what he's posting and stuff. And like I go on the Facebook page, and I think Facebook might have removed that section, or maybe bands just don't put it up. Maybe
no, man! Cool. I'd blame Facebook straight up. I've watched Facebook evolve in so many ways on promoting pages that I run.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous.
So just remove that feature.
Yeah, no, and visibility. I've noticed visibility has changed. So there's times that you can go into your like section of people that like your band. You can see their profile, type in their name, and then you can then friend them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, when you meet people at gigs, you're like, oh, that was a really cool person. I want to know that guy.
Yeah.
But you might have met in a drunken situation where it was only passive.
Yeah.
And then you send them a message going, I know I was really drunk the other night, but man, I really thought you guys were cool. Want to catch up with you more.
Yeah.
Be upfront about it. Don't, without being super like Facebook stalky creepy. But no, I've noticed that those goalposts have changed, and I've watched it pendulum switch back and forth between privacy as well. Like privacy sometimes is important to Facebook, and then sometimes it's not. Right. But essentially, I think they're collecting all the data at the end of the day, and they don't really care about privacy of its user. Yeah. It's just the political perception at the time is what dictates how they, what dials they are running and what dials they are not. Yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm totally dying for a piss. I've got to take a piss.
Dude, I was just going to say the same thing. Is that cool?
Yeah, man. Like, can we pause, man? Can you pause the record? Yeah. It's all John Goodman. We don't want a Christian Bale just yet.
I guess I should probably keep going with what we were talking about, the story of how I got into this, right?
Yeah, because we were talking about graphic design, because this is our callback. I think for our show.
Bring it a bit lower.
A bit lower.
Okay. How's that, Jan?
There you go. There we go.
Cool.
Oh, no, actually, I've got it. There we go.
You got me. There we go.
That's the one you want. That's the one you want. Yeah, now he's happy.
Yeah.
So graphic design.
Yeah, so I finished school. I'm doing this band. I'm like, graphic design's on pause, and then I'm like, suddenly realize I'm like, oh, why am I like working a full-time job? I should be a graphic designer. Oh my god, I had no idea
how competitive the field was.
Just so many things. I had no idea what I was in for. So thus began an onslaught of stop, start, try a million different things. All sorts of things. Anyway, but anyone will tell you to just don't be that dude that tries to do everything. But I kind of want to argue that if I hadn't have tried everything and failed a million different things,
How would you know?
Probably still wouldn't be at a point where I'm at right now, where I know what I want to be doing. Anyway, so
makes a lot of sense though, because then you're sampling all of these different arts.
Yeah.
And you're finding out what is more attuned to you.
Yeah.
What's something that you are more accelerated at learning at than others.
Yeah.
And then you can select, okay, so I've got a knack for cinematography. I can go with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These avenues. Yeah, I totally dig that. So when was your first clip that you shot though, where you've gone?
Yeah.
Because we've talked about the first gig and the first moment, but what's the first clip that you go, fuck yeah, that's the moment?
Yeah, so anyway, so I'm in graphic design. I'm doing graphic design, like on and off. I went to TAFE and dropped out. Dropped out because the band I was in was starting to tour.
Yeah.
So I dropped out in this is 2012. I start touring with my band, thank you. And because I'm in a touring band, there's all these bands that want graphic design. So I'm doing designs on and off, do a couple for businesses, whatever. Doing all of that, and then it gets to this point where I'm at my life where I'm going through all these breakups and stuff, and then I was in this spot where I'm like, I'm not doing anything creative. I'm not in a band right now. I'm not doing anything. All I'm doing is working this job, and I'm in a relationship, which that's fine for most people.
For some people, that's okay.
To some days I wish that I was satisfied with just going to a job. And that.
It's strange how you say that. I know the tone that you said that, not just what you said, but the tone. I kind of wish that it was different, because then it'd be easier.
It's like an addiction.
It's an addiction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally dig that.
So I did I went out one weekend and I just took a whole bunch of party drugs, whatever, and I'm experimenting with drugs, partying. I'm still 23 or whatever. I'm still really young.
That's the age.
Yeah, I'm still really young. And this is 7, 8 years ago. And I'm my best mate at the time, he's what do you mean at the time? Best mate that I'm living with at the time, Tom, TK, cat president from a band called Bare Bones. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of Bare Bones.
I gotta show you Bare Bones. You'll love them. Anyway.
Check out some Bare Bones.
You need to get Tom Kennedy on this podcast. Anyway.
Yeah, man, we'll work it out at the end.
Yeah.
I already can feel the network that's going to happen out of this. Yeah.
Anyway, so he's sitting there with me, and I'm half in tears. I'm just having a sook to him, coming down off all these party drugs. And
you're getting sad and shit.
Sad
shit.
I mean, but hey, it was good because it pushed me to the point to be that emotional to then talk to my mate about it,
isn't it?
Yeah, which is amazing.
We talk about depression in a negative way, but it has, once you get out of it, it has positive attributes to
top
it.
Top one, Jan.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
And then, so he's well, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to play music. He's like, okay, play music. And I was like, but I also want to design. Same thing I've been dealing with for years. He's like, well, how about you just make music and then you make the designs for the band that you're in? And I'm like, okay, sick. Yeah. And then I realize okay, sick, I'm going to do this. And then I'm like, who am I going to do it with? I start this band, and all I wanted to do, because I was off the back of being in a band that was trying to be a band and serious and make it and all this sort of shit.
Yeah, the delusion of grandeur.
Yeah.
I know the one. I've been in one of those bands.
Yeah, and upon leaving that band, because I quit the band that I was in, and upon leaving that band, and I'm in this mindset of I don't care about the band doing anything. I just need to make art right now.
Yeah,
I need to do that. So in the space of the start of 2017, I'm not doing any art or anything like that. And and I have this crazy idea, and I sort of regret it. I sort of don't, because I'll get to why I don't in a second.
Okay.
I've always kind of thought I'm going to come back to graphic design at one point. And I'm not doing anything creative. I went from in 2016 to doing nothing creative to literally just doing everything.
Yeah.
The start of 2017.
I call it turbo mode.
Turbo mode, bro.
Turbo mode, bro.
So I enrolled to Billy Blue
and
Design
that's addictive
College.
in itself as well, because that's back to that ego idea, where that ego overtakes.
Yeah.
That's where
I can do everything.
That's where the addiction is. Yeah. I'm the one-man band in the band.
That's it. That's it. So I enrolled into this private college. It's so expensive, but I'm not even thinking about the money, and I'm so glad I did it, because in that period, man, it just inspired me to be creative again.
Yeah.
And I just became so creative. And
sparks are so important.
Sparked it so well. And like, because I had this really cool thing, I had something to work on over the next 12 months, which was all my uni courses, right?
Yeah.
At this private college. And around this, like just before I started there, I was at this festival. It's called Unify. It's down in like just a farm in Victoria.
Yeah, I think I remember this one. Yeah, because there's a few of these that have popped up.
Yeah.
They're usually on some farmland.
Yeah.
On they got a stage. And usually 2 stages, so they'll do the one set stage and then they'll do the other. Yeah.
So
just for context for our folks.
I go to this festival with Barebones. They're opening the festival.
Yeah.
And this is a massive opportunity for them. I'm go there and like everyone that I've ever met in music is at this festival. Like honest to God, almost everyone but my girlfriend I was dating at the time was at this music festival. So I run into the guitarist of my band now that was in my old band, and we're just kind of like, we're like at the same spot with our music career, like our music kind of journey. And we're like, yeah, we should do this. Let's just go write a song and just see what happens. It doesn't matter if we don't become a band. Let's just go get in the studio. So like,
let's just go flex a bit.
Yeah, so
let's go flex.
That's it. So I'm traveling with this dude whose best friend. He's actually the dude that was producing Barebones. His name's Jono Peters.
Big shout out, Jono.
Jono's a legend. He's a legend. And I meet him for the first time, and I was kind of talking to him about him just kind of writing some music, and I'll just come lay down some vocals for it, and I'll pay him whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like talking to him whatever, and we G it up, and he's kind of like in a weird spot. He's like thinking of maybe like taking a break from producing and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, meet the dude.
Oh yeah, no, he's in the supposers. You know the stage I'm talking about where it's not supposed to be this way.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be this way. I'm going to get a full-time job, otherwise I'm going to die. I'm going to starve to death and no one's going to ever love me.
And every creative's been there, and every creative will probably still go there.
Oh yeah, no, it's around Robin.
When AI comes and steals everything from us, and
man, see, I'll argue against that. Like, see, AI.
I'm joking.
I know, but AI can take over the law degree, right? So you could go to Wilson, like, which is is it Wilson or is it Will? I can't remember. On Jeopardy, you know what I'm talking about? They got the computer on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
That beats all the humans.
Yeah.
Right, like law is in Jeopardy. Robots, doctors are in Jeopardy.
Yeah.
But graphic designers, man. Vocalists, people that are artists, these things aren't under threat because you can't get a computer to do what we do. You can emulate it. But you can't reproduce it as original material. It has to be emulated from
existing things.
Existing things, right?
Yeah. But
I'm just saying we're safe, folks. Be an artist.
Who knows, man? I mean, who knows? Like, do you think graphic designers that were like punching in metal plates thought computers are going to come and destroy their industry?
Yeah, well, but
dude, full respect to those dudes that were doing it before computers.
But at the same time, do you think you'd be a front man filming a video clip for your band, off a DSLR?
Yeah.
Are you a Final Cut Pro guy or you Premiere?
Yeah.
Premiere, totally accessible software.
Yeah.
For tutorials, you're a basic editor.
Yeah.
Import, export, timeline, media library, special effects. There you go. You're on your way. Yeah. That's it. That's all you need, right? That's so accessible.
Super accessible.
Yeah, but dude, like, I'm serious. Like, to learn that, it cost me $40,000.
Oh man, but like you're still learning.
Yeah, but that's the other point.
But to get where you are, like it's to cost all this money.
I think that's a really valuable thing to say as well. Still learning, like you're always a student. Even as a master, you are still a student.
The second, and you know this, I can just tell you know this, bro. You know this. The second that you think, yeah, I'm cool. I'm like chilling now. I've like worked hard. I've done my dues. I've done my time. I'm like at my peak.
Yeah, you can't sit on your laurels, man.
I can chill down now. Watch out, motherfucker.
You can't sit on your laurels.
I don't know who it is or what it is, but it's coming for you, and it will cut you in half.
Yeah.
It will come for you. The second you think you've got it all sorted, watch out.
You can't rest on your laurels.
No.
You can't.
You're fucked. The second you think that way, you're doing your shittest work.
And you got to be hungry.
Yeah.
You got to remain hungry. And there's different ways to get that motivation, hunger, and we've talked about it vastly throughout this podcast in a subliminal way. And I think essentially what we're talking about is hunger. Talking about hunger as like, I need to tell this story. Yeah. I need to entertain these people. I need to figure out this instrument to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like just like, I need to learn a bass guitar. I'm talking about figuring out how to edit.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to data wrangle.
Yeah.
Figuring out the camera settings is like one of the most stressful things that you will learn. What light signature is in this room to figure out how to shoot this fucking light signature?
Yeah.
You can get bent up around the axles really quick if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I recommend, and what you're talking about is you start from scratch. Understand that you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Understand that you're going to lose.
Yeah, you have to.
It's not possible to win without losing.
Yeah, man.
It's just not.
Nah.
Like, because most young people I talk to in this spectrum, they would say, I want to be a boss and I want to be a CEO. I'm like, yeah, but are you prepared to sweep the floor? And they'll go, no, but I want to be a boss. I'm like, yeah, but then how do you understand the most common denominator in your organization and what they go through on a day-to-day basis? How can you figure that out without being that?
Yeah.
You can be this autonomous boss that is fully full of money and that is, making demands and commands all over the place. But if you don't understand the spectrum as an artist, then your content has no value.
Yeah.
No one's going to resonate with it.
Yeah.
It needs to come from a place of heart.
Yeah.
And that's why, especially metal, man, metal and videography for me are really about voice.
Yeah.
It's about this voice that's in me, the instrument within me that is tied to the dark seed or it's tied to the lightning that is in me.
Yeah.
When I've been at the depths of failure, you know that moment when you think you're going to lose?
Yep.
Not just lose, but lose everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're doing a business, right? You're in the abyss, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's on the line.
Always.
It's on the line. And when it fails, you've got to go back to your crutches, the people that support you. And not all artists have that as well. Like, because I think we're fortunate artists. So we've got people around us that love us and adore us.
Yep.
I've never had to fully rely on them. But, man, if I had to, they would be there.
And you never want to have to do that.
No way.
But if you have to, we're so unbelievably blessed and privileged that we have those resources or those people that can help us for a month or so or whatever it might be. But it's your worst fear of having to ask anyone for help.
For help. It's interesting what you talk about, though, being an independent artist, or not just an independent artist, the one-man army. The editor, the cinematographer, the musician, the promoter. I would employ to you, like, as someone that's been through that journey, the best way to do it, like, money is a great motivator. You can motivate people to do things with money. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's not the absolute truth. The real absolute truth is that money is an aspect of enrolling someone in an idea.
Yeah.
A payday is great. But you also need to involve them in your project. Why you're passionate about it. Because I don't want to work with people that aren't passionate about my projects.
Yeah.
If they just want to collect money off me because I'm a payday, I'd be a little bit offended by that. I'm like, I'm a bit more than that. Like, I'm trying to do things that are more community focused than that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at entertainment from a accessible point of view.
Yeah.
I just don't want people to show up at a show. I want artists to show up at a show. The biggest critics of a heavy metal show are the other bands, man. Well, you've had that experience. Like, I know you have. Like, when you're up on a show and you're playing with bigger bands than you, they're watching you.
Absolutely. It's fucking scary,
It's
dude.
fucking scary, man, when you're playing with heavy hitters. It really is.
Yeah, bro.
Because they know the journey that you've been through.
Yeah.
They know your torments. Yeah. Like, because the biggest thing that breaks up a band is a girl, right? The biggest thing that breaks up a band is always a girl.
Oh, fuck.
And those indiscretions that have... Yeah, see that, honestly? That oh, fuck, I know what you're talking about, bro. I know.
That's not true. It's not a girl because...
It's a relationship issue.
Because I know I have lots of friends that are females that are in bands. So it's not just a girl.
That's true.
But
that is true.
It's relationships. Well, it's human. It's the human behavior of trying to get 5 fucking people together
in a room
that are like usually in the early 20s to try create art all together.
Oh man, I've got a worse one for you. Like when you go through the band journey,
good luck.
One day you're gonna get older, right? And you gotta start trying to pedal metal as an old codger. And what I realised, I always thought at 40 I'd stop being a metalhead. This is what I thought. I'd stop performing before 40.
Yeah.
It's just not true. You're going to be an old man playing metal, man. There's no getting around it.
You know what's funny?
You can't get out of it.
No, of course.
You can deny it.
Yeah.
You can go and get that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And you can deny it. But
Yeah.
that ain't the truth.
Yeah.
Just isn't.
It's so funny you say that because like I'm 29 now, right? So I'm still young. I'm still young as fuck. I still got so much ahead of me.
Yeah.
Even
21's a good age.
Honestly, when I'm 50, I still think I'll be doing lots of really cool shit. That's just my plan. And this kind of goes back to what I'm about to say.
It's a good plan. Just realise you will.
Yeah, like when I was meeting my girlfriend I'm with now, you know, like you're kind of just talking, you're sussing each other's lives out, whatever. And like I met her through music, and like I remember having a conversation with her about like the band I'm in currently. I was like, yeah, like it's just about having a good time. Yeah, like, you know, to do cool shit is always great. Like we got to play this really cool festival at the end of 2019, right? We never ever planned on even trying to do that sort of stuff, but it just kind of came together and we somehow won this opening slot. Okay. Playing with some insane bands in our
What
genre.
festival was it?
It's called Good Things.
Oh, yeah, Good Things. Okay, yeah.
And we were blown away that we actually got it. We won a battle of the bands. Like,
yeah, man, I've applied to a lot of festivals.
Yeah.
Man. It's hard to get in on the festival.
And
It really is.
Anyway, so like that was amazing. It was a huge highlight for us and bit of a flex.
Nothing wrong with flexing and plugs, man. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Like again, though, it comes down to like, I hope people enjoy the podcast, and I hope people enjoy the band. I hope people enjoy the production company, because what we're trying to do is link people together.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. I want to link people together.
Yeah.
I want to get them to go and where they're already going and remind them of their own reflection.
Yeah.
Essentially, there's no superimposing on this shit, man.
Yeah.
There's no trickery. There's no magic wand. All we have is authenticity.
Yeah.
It's all we got. If we can't be real, then there's nothing to be had. And because you would have run into these bands. We talked about them before. These prick bands, right? And we've been those pricks in bands as well.
Yeah.
Where there's delusion of grandeur, right? Because then you go, why am I a vocalist? Why? Do I want to be we got it going? Man, you got some, look, you clearly designed these. These look really nice.
Nah, honestly, man, like this stuff, all this stuff you're seeing, it's not me. We've outsourced this stuff. If you go real far back, that's stuff I've done. But,
You've outsourced it.
Yeah.
See, yeah, you are outsourcing it.
Yeah.
That's the advice I was giving to you before.
Yeah.
Is you got to put trust.
Yeah.
You got to enroll trust into others.
Yeah.
You just have to, because you can't be the lawyer all the time.
No.
You can't be the promoter all the time. No. It's just not possible.
No. I think, like, just quickly what I was going to say was about the band 50 and whatever. I was talking to my girlfriend, and I was like, to be honest, when I'm like 40, I'm probably going to be in some kind of a band. It's still, it's not going to be trying to be big. It's just because it's just what I need to do.
Yeah.
I have to get it out. Anyway. And dude, I'm so glad you mentioned the whole outsourcing and whatever. I think because the projects that I've mainly been doing, it's been capable to do it on my own.
Doesn't mean you can't be critical.
No.
You can be critical of collaborators. It doesn't mean you can't be that.
I think that's the biggest thing I'm afraid of is like being critical and like I don't want to shake things up too much, but I know that it is
combative. It is combative, and people are afraid of that confrontation.
Yeah.
But I say this from the guise of someone that's still learning that.
Yeah.
I'm still learning that, like that confrontation of artists and collaboration. When you're the head honcho, there's a bit of an ease of like, well, this is my vision, and it needs to be here this way. Yep. But essentially, you need to be the open collaborator. You need to invite other artists to actually add their two bob.
Of course.
You have to.
I think,
and you've got to be accommodating to that.
Yeah. Well, I think
to the point of, is it outside the vision?
Yeah.
Or is it in if it goes outside the scope, you go, well, that's
if it's fucking with the mix.
Yeah, that's whimsical. We're being whimsical. Let's get out of being whimsical. Let's get back to the vision.
Yeah.
You know?
I think if I was to kind of pinpoint why I need to work with people now, it's that I need to work for people. I don't need to hire people for me to be like, do this, do that. I need to be the person right now goes on someone else's set and gets told what to do and learns from them.
Yeah, mentorship,
I know what you're saying too.
I have
so much to learn about holding a camera. I have so much to learn, dude. There's
a lot.
There is, but like,
it's super hard.
I honestly think that some people would see my shit and go like, "Fuck, he must know everything about the camera." Man, I don't know shit.
No, like, but you are. I've looked at your content, man. Hey, Jan, can you pull up some of Blake's clips while we're talking about this? Because I've got to point this out to you because I don't think you realise it. And let me try to pull this out from an organic point of view.
Go for it, baby. Hit me.
All right. So, because you haven't been formally taught as a filmmaker, right?
No, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I've been formally trained as a graphic designer, but not film.
They are interchangeable.
Absolutely.
They're totally interchangeable. If you look at it from the point of view, like you understand the rule of thirds. Yeah. You know that there's three components. And if those three components aren't there, sometimes there's a diagonal. There's a leading point to a graphic. Yeah. Where you get someone's eye onto the start. Yeah. And then they will end up at a conclusion. Yeah. Diagonals are great for that. Diagonal angles are great for that. Car porn. Shoot the headlight that goes all the way to the rear of the car. They'll start at the headlight and then now they're looking at the car. Yeah. Start at the base of the guitar and then all of a sudden now they're looking at the strings. Now they're looking at the player. Yeah. Now they're listening to the music. Right? These are elements that are used as visual cues that we all are subject to. Yeah. And saturated with too. Yeah. Like all of Western society is saturated with image. Yeah. Image is so like it's the bane of most graphic designers because most people go, well, I could just go onto Canva and just whip that up myself. And why do I need to pay you $1,100 for this? Because it's just a logo. How hard can it be to put a logo together? And you're like, well, actually, there's a lot of education that goes behind the design of a logo. What psychology do you want people to be affected with? What palette are you going to use? Is it just going to be black and white? Are you going to use a color scheme? Are you going to use gradients? Keep in mind that using gradients may have an effect when you try to make that black and white. Like there's a whole host of issues with making a logo.
Man. So much.
And an amount of education is quite substantial. Just a logo.
Yeah, man.
Just a logo.
That's it. There's so
but
much
it's
involved.
not just a logo. It's not. It is the
face.
It is your face.
The face of your brand.
It is the representative of your brand. Yeah. It is a representative of everything. Yeah. And the same thing goes into a shot. What I'll say about your content is the same thing that happens organically in the rules of thirds. It's the same thing that happens with angles and snap editing. So what I teach editors because I've made a few editors out there. Because I've done a lot of internships with people, get them on their way. Yeah. One of the first things I teach a new editor is edit ear to eye, because editing, you would think that it's a visual space, like because people think about editing as a image thing, but all your clips are well succinct to music. Yeah, it literally has nothing to do with vision. No, it's to do with sound.
The whole experience. Yeah,
it's a soundscape that you have visualized. Yeah. It's not a visual scape that you have soundized, if that's the way I could put it. No. The sound is the precursor. Yeah, and you've matched vision to a truth that is sound. Yeah. So sound is actually the truth. That is the basement. Yeah. And it's the common denominator of your edit. Yeah. You're editing ear to eye. And so you could look at a formal education and go, well, of course you edit ear to eye. And you could look at Marshall McLuhan and talk about the medium is the message. If people are watching it on their phone and they're taking in a stereo left and right channel and a visual channel that has 3D space, you could exploit that 3D space to invoke emotion. Yeah. You could look at it in an academic kind of way. You can do that. Yep. But the reality of what you're doing is you're editing ear to eye. You're actually doing things in a rhythmic, deliberate fashion. Yeah. And you could spend 40 grand figuring that out. What you've done is just gone, I've got this song. How do I make this vision match the song? Yeah. Problem, solution. Yeah. So I'm to give you a bit of confidence in that spectrum, like, because I've had so many guests on the show that are formally educators, are filmmakers, or are startups that are self-educated. Yeah. From feature filmmakers to people that are doing Neighbours and Home and Away and all these kind of B-level sort of stuff that's getting out there, and some of them even further than that. Yeah. But essentially, it comes down to rhythm. And that's why I say to filmmakers, if you have an understanding of... I say to people that are young, that are 18, go and start a band, because you'll figure out how to deal with a venue. You'll figure out how to be a lawyer. You'll figure out the law. You'll figure out how to be a promoter. And then all of a sudden you go, man, someone needs to film this thing. Because if it didn't get filmed, it didn't happen.
Yep.
It doesn't exist if it wasn't filmed in this day and age. You could talk about an awesome gig all you like. If you didn't film it and show someone, it didn't happen.
Well, it's just word of mouth.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, word of mouth travels a long way. Yeah. But you know what complements word of mouth really well, and what we do in pubs all the time? Check out this photo.
Yeah. We
don't talk about because there was a time in pubs when I was younger that you could bullshit your way through a pub. Like, there's one bullshit tale that I used to tell people. Did you know that cops have this button in their car, and when they push it, they can turn a red light to green? Great bullshit story, right? It's a great bullshit story. You can unpack a lot out of that.
Well, it's like, oh, fuck, okay. I mean, if that person backs you and they've had enough skewies.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, but now you can pull out Google and fact check me, right? So I've got to find a new way to craft a bullshit, right? And I know that sounds crazy, but it's a storytelling.
Yeah.
And when you're storytelling, because you've got to, like, in any film, especially in heavy metal as well, like, if you look at church groups that look at heavy metal in the 70s and 80s, apparently we're raising Satan. Apparently we're tapping into demonic ideas, and we're raising Satan. And what we're trying to do is get every teenage girl pregnant without a husband. That's what we're up to, and that's our ethos, which is clearly way further from the truth. The truth is that we're storytellers that are telling a Halloween story.
Yeah.
You know, we're telling this gruesome, gritty story that comes from a strange perspective. It actually has nothing to do with religion or the perspective on society. It has nothing to do with that. You may reflect on those things, but the performance itself is a form of entertainment.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It is. You can speculate beyond it.
That's it.
But that's all that is speculation. It's not the truth. So, you know, metal's Halloween, man. Metal's very Halloween in nature. And the same with film, right? You can tell horror films, right? They're not real. They're just stories. And I find it's strange how different people can look at these things differently. But they're all art forms, and as I say, they're all intertwined.
Yeah, legit, they are.
They are totally intertwined. And that's why I find... speaking of music videos, by the way, I know I mentioned it in our smoke break earlier, but music videos now are available for winning at Made in the West. You can
really?
Yeah, man, I've got a music... You get the glassware.
Wow.
See, like at Made in the West, I've got 3 sets of glassware normally. Best in the West.
When you say glassware, you mean like that's the award?
The award. Yeah. Like, I don't just give you a plastic piece of clear perspex. I give you glass.
Hectic, dude. That's sick.
When you hold on to it.
Yeah.
That award, by the way, most of those trophies are worth about $300-$400 each.
Whoa, man. That's sick.
Right? We don't just give you a shitty little award for a photo op.
Yeah.
We give you an award when that photograph happens for that award winner. That face is real.
Bro, you trying to sell me on this fucking festival? Because I'll fucking enter if
Dude,
you push me any
I'm selling. Man, like, we had our first music video award last year. And we added
was it the, by the Indian director?
No, she was, that's been a Botta Charger.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a runner-up.
I love that story. I loved her story. I want to hear more. I need to watch that video.
You should talk to Bina Moore, actually. She's actually the shout-out queen for the Pagey train. She gets shouted out all the time. She's currently making a feature, just recently made a feature, frequent winner at Made in the West. Organic artist, proper filmmaker. Yeah. In a nutshell. I know it was Esky that I had on recently that won that award. He won the first music award, which is the glassware. So you've got the Audience Choice Award. So if you don't believe, like you know, to name drop, man, we've got some big heavy hitters that are on our panel for judges. We've got Brian Brown, Steve Lamarcand. We've got these big actors and big directors that are 20-year veterans, 30-year veterans. I guess because
they'd love it and they want to support the
grassroots.
The industry, people that are starting up. This is
where the needle meets the vein, man. Yeah. Like this is some like intense shit. Like the quality that we're getting now. Like these guys are winning at Edinburgh. They're winning in the AMC Awards in New York. Like these are heavy hitters.
Wow.
All started where we are right now.
It's great, man.
You know, started like, okay, so how do you, okay, what cameras, iris settings, what the fuck's an iris? All right, that's where they started. Now they're winning awards internationally, right? If you don't believe those guys, then the audience gets to vote.
Yeah.
So you got the Audience Choice Award, another piece of glassware. Best
Amazing.
Student Award.
Amazing.
So you're a student, you know your student film is not going to compete with these $40,000 to $10,000 films. But you're a student, so we're going to give you a category too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can also win the Audience Choice Award, which last year, big shout out to Raghead, the guys that made that film. It's the first student film to ever win the Audience Choice Award.
Oh, nice.
So they beat all of the heavy hitters that enter this festival.
Fuck yeah.
What
Fuck yeah, boys and girls.
Yeah,
well
man.
done.
Yeah, man. Like, I'll show you. I'll talk about this film with you later, man. Like, holy shit.
Fuck yeah.
It's intense. I've talked about it a lot on the podcast, so I don't want to go down that tangent. But I will certainly say this: we now have a music video award.
Wow. Okay.
And you get glassware.
Sick.
So you're amongst those three. You know, Best in the West, Audience Choice Award, Best Student Film, Best Music Video.
Yeah, killer.
You get a piece of glassware that goes, man. That's fucking awesome, right?
Nice.
And we've been dying for this, right? We've been dying for it because a really hard thing to meet, like, it's ironic for me. It's ironic for me because, like, I come from the metal industry, creating a film festival as someone that became a filmmaker by accident.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't target to become a filmmaker. It just sort of happened.
Yeah.
I was always a musician first.
Yeah.
And then I became a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that there's all these music videos out there, but it's hard for a music video to be judged amongst genre films.
Yeah.
Because they're different things.
Yeah.
They require different nuance. They require different timing. Different audiences too. They're different audiences.
Yep.
So I've been dying to get a music award for videographers that make music videos.
Yep.
Because they're usually discounted. Because filmmakers are like, they're filmmakers, la-di-da. And then you have to enter your film as a videographer, as a music video producer, into video film awards.
Yep.
And that's not what Main in the West is about. Main in the West is about representing artists. And the artists that we weren't recognising before were composers. Because you think about film, you think about it visually.
Yeah. But
Films,
there's also the score.
There's the score.
Yeah.
So we started recognising the musicians in Made in the West. And then we realised, actually, there's another type of cinematographer out there that we're not recognising. It's the videographer that makes music videos.
Yeah.
And you know this as well, because you run into other videographers and you go, I make a lot of music videos.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, yeah, but I make horror films. Right?
Yeah.
And there's this...
The thing is, I don't have enough mates that do film.
Dude, you should come to Made in the West. I'll show you all
I'd
of them.
love to. So I got
They're out there everywhere.
You know how we're talking about
everywhere.
like. You know what we're talking about like.
You know how many guitarists are playing metal in Sydney?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's how many cinematographers are out there making film.
Sick.
They're everywhere.
That's so good. I'm keen to meet him, man. So like, I've got this dude. He's directed some videos for my band. The ones where I've edited, but he's directed some for my band, and he studied to be a director, so he went to film school to be a director, and he wants to be a director. That's his passion. He wants to be a director. And he's directed a music video for this band that's blowing up. They're called Stand Atlantic. It's a pop punk band.
Yeah, I think I've seen these guys actually.
Yeah.
I saw them in my feed like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're
I'm savage though. I'm an internet trawler for this sort of shit though. I really am. That's when you bring up bands like, do I know that band?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I missed that band, but I know this band.
So he hasn't quite tapped in yet. He hasn't had a super solid, consistent run. I say that because he's my mate. You know, we talk this shit.
Yeah, when I see this guys, I'm gonna have to figure.
But
that
his
out.
name's Dane. Okay,
Yeah.
and I've worked with him at just various day jobs and call centers and stuff on and off. And I've just known the guy for 10 years now. Anyway, we've worked together on some things. We've done some videos to get music videos for bands and stuff together. And I told him the other week, I just checked in with him. I was like, how you doing, bro? He's like, oh, I'm doing good, man, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what's going on? Are you getting amongst this stuff full time? What are you doing? And he's talking. And he's like, yeah, I really want to do it, but I just worried if I leave and then I can't get another job. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, let's do it now. You got to do it now. Anyway, a few days.
We're gonna jump off this cliff, or we're gonna jump off this fucking cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
A few days later, he's like, "Hey man, I'm working on a short film. Would you like to be a part of it?" And I was just like, in my head, I'm like, I'm not a film dude. I shoot autofocus on a fucking mirrorless camera. I'm so far from being a film dude. And he's like,
dude, I think your clips say differently. I've watched your clips. Like, how many music videos have you made?
I've probably made over 20 now.
So you're not a filmmaker then?
I mean, I am, but like, of course. But like, I mean, I'm not like a film dude. I
think you are a film dude, man. You've made 20 music videos, bro. Like, you are. But this is what I'm talking about, the imposter monster. Yeah. And I only say this. I say this from a really genuine point of view. Like, that denial of being an artist, right?
Yeah.
You're a front man in a band. It's hard to say you're a musician because you go, well, I play a little bit of guitar, but I'm really shit at guitar.
Yeah.
So I'm a vocalist, not a musician. Can't say musician.
Yeah.
Have to say vocalist, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not involved in film, but I've shot 20 music videos that are actually multiple thousands of views online. Are doing quite well. Yeah. Not a filmmaker.
Well, I mean,
you see my point.
I know what you mean.
The amount of times I run into this
on this show, only imagine.
On this show, the amount of times I run into it, and I need to point it out.
No, it's fine. Please go.
I have to. Like seriously, you're not a filmmaker. You make 20 films, man.
Yeah,
and it's not a small feat. Like how many hours were in shooting? How many hours of editing?
So many.
How many problems did you run into just data wrangling that? Like
millions.
Yeah, uncountable.
Millions.
It's uncountable.
Like so many. So many. But I guess like, so with it, I'm like, I've never done. I've shot a bunch of narrative stuff, right? For music videos, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we got a point A, point B, point C.
Shot a bunch of narratives that spliced in. I've done music videos where it's just narrative. The band isn't even in the music video, right?
See, that's some creative shit. That means you're doing set design. Yeah. That means you've got actors that are in the shots.
Yeah.
That means you're probably using makeup, special effects.
I wish. Well, yeah, like bits and pieces like that, yeah.
You may be fringe on it, but these are considerations that are a part of that architecture. Yeah. So you downplayed it again. You downplayed it again, man. Like, I've watched these clips, man. They're fucking boss, bro.
Thanks, bro.
They're fucking boss, man.
Thank you, Roscoe, you asked for a preview. Did you want me to?
Yeah, man. Whack him up.
Want to see something?
Like, no. I'm just gonna call this bullshit. Like, I'm not a filmmaker. Look at this shit, bro. This is your gear.
Yeah. This is just my camera.
Yeah, this is your gear, and I'm like, I'm on autofocus, so it doesn't count. Fuck off, bro. Like, you're smashing it, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Brother. So, like,
I'm just going to point it out. I'm just calling out this
You're
bullshit.
making me blush, bro.
I know. But it's important to be this harsh, man. Like, because I'm emotional about it as well, man. Like, because I've got to be bold enough to say it, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, here we are. We're locked into this podcast. Yeah. We're doing this idea. We're resonating on these other things. Like, I didn't know that you were a front man for bands and shit when you rocked up here. And I started watching your content. Because I was watching content that you'd made rather than the content that you were in.
Yeah. It's just normal, yeah.
Yeah, well, I did my research, but there was one, I didn't do my research to the point where I knew your band, Teeth, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, man, he's actually in the clips. I'm like, fuck, he's a front man. Like, I'm a front man. I'm a videographer.
We're basically mates. We're mates now.
We're mates now. Like, there's no way out of it.
I love it.
And that's why I got to call you on it, man, because, like, you are a filmmaker, man. You clearly make content.
Yeah. No, I am. Like, that's what I am. I'm a filmmaker. Like, it's my full-time job now. I guess where I'm going with it is it's like I haven't had enough exposure to the film narrative kind of world, right?
Yeah, the genre sort of stuff.
Yeah, like you know, like making a short film type thing, right? Or like being on those sets, and I think that kind of comes down to it. Like that's what I want. I want to jump on more sets, not to make money, just to be there and be like, what's going on? Why are they doing this? Like, why are they using that camera for this? And you know, how are they lighting it? And I just want to just be there and absorb it all.
It's a great approach,
just
man.
absorb it all. And that's when Dane hit me up. He was like, hey, like I want to do the short film. And he sent me what he'd wrote, and I was like, fuck, this is amazing. And like I knew what it was about. And then like last night he confirmed it for me. It's like a short film about suicide.
Yeah, heavy,
and
man.
I was like, whoa, okay, this is some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, but as a metal dude, man, you can go to those dark places. And
bro, absolutely.
you can be, I wouldn't say fully comfortable, but you can be comfortable enough.
Yeah.
You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can be comfortable enough to go to those dark places.
Oh no, I'm so ready for it. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's right up my alley.
And not everyone can approach that kind of content. Not everyone has it
brutal.
in them. I know guys that can. Like, big shout out to Luke, and a big shout out to Brendan. Actually, they've done films like this before. There's a bravery to it. Bravery, is that such a word? There's a courageousness to it.
Yeah.
And but you got to do it the right way.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to just like kind of really get our hands dirty. We haven't even started anything yet. He's obviously wrote the film. And we just kind of met up to just talk logistics, like hiring like the team we're going to put together and whatever and things like that. And I was like, what are you going to do with it? And he was like, oh, I'm going to put it in film festivals. And I was like, oh, well, like the guy that I'm like doing this podcast with tomorrow night, he has like a film festival, and it's called Made in the West. And like we looked up the website, and we were like, wait a minute, it's people that only are based in Western Sydney. And I said to him, I was like, I grew up on the Central Coast, and
it's not only based in Western Sydney.
Of course. But he did. He grew up in Wentworthville.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, we there's two. I've got to really point this out.
Yeah, go for it.
So, we champion Western Sydney filmmakers, no doubt about it. But what we also want is people from outside of Western Sydney to come into Western Sydney.
You don't want to be the people that say, no, you can't come in, you can't sit with us. Because you're saying that's not how it should be. It should be because you guys.
It's inclusiveness, right?
Yeah.
So you got to look at it this way. If I champion people in Western Sydney to be better artists, it's a win.
Yep.
If I encourage people from outside of Western Sydney to have a location that they shoot in Western Sydney, we make money.
Sick.
That's the model.
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to get Western Sydney to rise. I'm trying to invite people to Western Sydney to make films. I'll give you an example, right? If you go shoot a movie in Campbelltown, okay? So, like, let's do two comparisons, right? You shoot a movie on George Street.
Yep.
How much is it going to cost you?
We're talking like a
blocking off streets.
We're in the mills.
Right.
Easily.
Okay.
Straight up from zero to a mill.
Straight up.
Easy.
Okay. So let's go shoot a movie in Campbelltown. You go, no cityscape. Can't do that. Actually, it does have a cityscape, and you could go to Parramatta, get the same cityscape.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the parking's free.
Yeah.
So you can go from 20-minute changeover from Camden, at a white picket fence. You could be at a rail yard in Campbelltown. You're going to be at a footy field in Campbelltown.
Yeah.
You're going to be at a car park in Campbelltown. And then you can go get your cityscape in Liverpool or Parramatta. And the parking's
genius, dude.
free.
Yeah, fuck it. Oh, man.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
so it's not just... but you know what I mean? It's not just about rising artists in Western Sydney. It's also about encouraging employment in Western Sydney by inviting artists from outside of Western Sydney.
Man, you're on, like, the big picture here. You're not just talking, like, the film. You're talking, like... boosting the economy of the West.
Totally, man. I'm talking about like creating employment. I'm talking about starting an industry.
Holy shit.
That's what I'm about. Like, I want to start. Like, no, let me rephrase that. I've been a mechanism, not the only one, but I've been a mechanism in starting an industry in Western Sydney.
Yeah.
Because before that, we all had to change our hairstyle and go to the North Shore, and we all had to lie about our postcode to get a job. Now we don't. It's actually a badge of pride. You go, I'm from Western Sydney. I've got a story to tell. I'm from Mount Druitt. Do you want to hire me or not?
Just while we're on the topic of Western Sydney, I wanna fill you in on some really cool, kind of like some bands, right? Okay. So right now in the genre of music that I play in, okay, there's I want to say that there's 3 different subgenres within the metal that we play. Okay.
Yep.
Subgenre 1 is called deathcore. It's death metal and hardcore.
Yep.
Okay. Subgenre 2 is metalcore. It's metal and hardcore. Okay. Subgenre 3, it's called gent. So it's like it's like mathcore.
I love gent.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of gent, man.
So
it actually comes from the sound of the guitar.
Yeah. So those are the 3 prominent genres in the scene that I play in, right? My band is a culmination of all 3 of those. So that's just
there's this dude that out there did a video clip of gent. He's like, here we are to describe gent.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Bang, 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 bang.
The Meshuggah sound.
Bang, bang.
Meshuggah sound.
Man, I love Meshuggah.
It's so good. It's so good.
It
So
is so good. People are so objective to that kind of music, though. But it get like I got goosebumps thinking about it.
I can see.
It gets in my veins,
Yeah,
man.
it's amazing.
Like
It's tribal.
the Millennium Cyanide Christ, like
Dude, it's tribal.
yeah, man.
It's
Primal and tribal. It's primal and
fucking
tribal.
Heavy music.
It is.
Yeah.
It is core.
It's sick.
And that's where the word hardcore comes from. People think you got to think about core in the right way.
Yeah.
It really comes from a seed within.
Yeah.
And that seed, as an artist, for me, is a choice. You can be the dark seed.
Yeah.
Or you can be the light seed. I'll give you an example like Randy Blythe, right?
Yeah,
Lamb of God.
Yeah.
That's some dark seed shit, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, but you can then go Maynard,
Yeah.
right? Some dark seedness, don't get me wrong, but it goes to a space of light. It goes to this poetic space.
Yeah.
You know, but when you stick them together to a layman in metal, they'd be like, it just sounds like noise to me.
Yeah.
They would compare Lamb of God and Tool in the same spectrum. You're like, they're literally so far apart.
Absolutely, man.
They are a world apart.
Absolutely. So just quickly before we take another piss break.
Yeah.
So
you just get out of my brain and stop reading my mind.
Just on the topic of
We might need to do a battery change. We got another hour in this. I know it.
of Western Sydney goodness.
Maybe
Okay.
half hour. We'll go.
So in Australia right now, in those genres of music, okay, you've got about
those three layers.
you've got about 6 or 7 bands that are at the top. Okay.
The flagship bands.
Yeah, I'll name a couple. So you've got Parkway Drive.
Yep.
You've got North
Parrot.
Lane. They're kind of in the more metal realm,
Yeah.
but we're just within these genres I'm talking about.
Okay.
So you've got Parkway Drive. You've got a band called Polaris.
Yeah, no Polaris. Yeah.
You've got a band called what am I doing? You've got Parkway. You've got Thy Art Is Murder.
Yeah.
You've got Polaris.
Oh, Thy Art Is Murder. They're definitely flagship.
You've got
Definitely.
North Lane. Okay. There's a couple. There's obviously more. There's the Amity Affliction. There's more. Okay. Thy Art Is Murder. Blacktown, Western Sydney.
Totally.
Blacktown, PCYC.
I can't do it.
What, you need to piss?
I'm gonna do it.
All right, let's go piss.
All right, let's go piss.
do it.
Parkway Drive. Thy Art Is Murder. Pause it all, baby.
All right.
Rolling.
With Josh Brolin.
I know where we left off.
Yeah. Where did we leave off?
Okay, cool. So there's so many big like bands that are at the top, right? And they've all been once they get there, they kind of just stay there. They don't once like they hit that level, like the North Lane Polaris level, they stay there. Okay, and that's it. That's good. So that is Murder, Western Sydney played Blacktown Masonic, the PCYCs. They came from the depths of Western Sydney.
Yeah, totally.
Okay?
Yeah.
Recorded their first EP at Electric Sun Studios. North Lane.
And they're waving the flag. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. North Lane. Same deal. Blacktown Masonic. All around the same time as Thy Art. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Still.
I know these bands, yeah.
Still to this day, killing the game. Polaris from the Sutherland Shire. Okay. Not so much Western Sydney. But my point is, like, these 3 bands, they're like the biggest acts in Australia and globally for the genre as well. And they came from like these parts of Sydney, man.
We got to understand as well. Like I had the privilege of running into Thy Art Is Murder at an airport.
Yeah, nice.
And I saw them. You know a musician going on a plane.
Oh yeah.
Because you see their gear, you're like, oh, they're doing the extra baggage.
Yeah.
Right. And I ran into those guys because they had the tattoos, and you're like, oh, Thy Art Is Murder, right? And they're like, yeah, man, yeah. I'm like, shit, man. Like, I must say, I'm a massive fan. I'm in a garage band myself, you know, trying to make it in the world and you know, just perform metal and just have a fun time. And they said, man, it's brutal. Like, because we talk about it being brutal, right? But they gave me the real rundown. So I managed to have a couple of Stella Artois, if you will, at the airport lounge there with those guys. And I was, they informed me, they're like, man, we go and do a show in the South US. We may make $100,000 in a year. And you go, that's great. But then you extrapolate that and you go, 5 guys in a band, splitting $100,000.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that's 20 grand each. Still shit. Like, you think about that as a wage to live on.
Yeah.
You can't live on 20 grand each a year. You may have other further passive, income feeds from your band, your merch sales and other things. But you still got your overhead. You still had your plane tickets, your hotels, your roadies, your employees.
Yep.
And you're splitting up 100 grand after your overhead.
Yeah.
So you go, but they're the top.
Yeah, bro.
That's the top.
Yeah, bro.
You're like, fuck, you must be passionate, man.
Yeah, dude.
You have to be, because you're still eating cheese in the back of your fucking car going, this is a great meal.
Yeah.
But that's why I say to, like, those young aspiring musicians, it's great to have those delusions of grandeur. You want to be this great rock band. You want to be AC/DC. You want to be the guy that got caught, with 100 pounds of weed off the coast of New Zealand. It's true. Check it out. But that's not the reality.
No.
The reality is, like, even if you make it, you still you can't rest on your laurels. You're still at the cutting edge. You're still hand to mouth. Even if you win, you're still hand to mouth.
Man, when a band signs a record deal, right? I think a lot of young bands, and I obviously can't say this from first-hand experience. I can say this from experience of people that I'm best friends with that have been down this path, right? That have signed record label deals. A lot of young bands think once they sign the deal, that's it. The hard work's over. It's all smooth sailing from there.
No way.
That's actually where the hardest work begins, because you now owe a debt to someone. And before that, it didn't matter if you fucked up. Now it matters if you fuck up.
Yeah, because the money's on the line.
Because someone's vouching for you, man. Someone's saying, like, yo, we're going to put out all this money, and we need to hope that you're going to work hard enough to make it back and then some, so that you can then have some money in your back pocket. And I think it's pretty brutal, man. It's pretty grim. So look, we've obviously been on a million tangents. Should we talk? I think I was trying to talk about.
No. I know. I've got two callbacks to do.
Yeah,
right?
go
I've
for
got
it,
two
go for it,
callbacks
go
to
for it,
do.
go for it.
But let me just unpack this a little bit further.
Yeah.
In bands that I've been in, we've been in the Triple J's Hottest 100 for metal.
Fuck, that's
Right?
amazing.
And people go, yeah, it is amazing. And they go, man, you guys must have made it. And you're like,
hell no.
No way
son.
near, man. Like, there's 100 bands out there included in that list. We were in the top 90. I think we were at 97 or whatever it was in one of our clips for Jaded Insect. We made that. Was it exclusive? Absolutely. Did we get radio play? The quintessential, like, brass ring of being in a band is having your music played on the radio, especially on time slots that are akin to your genre. Like, wow, man, we've been listened to by an audience that's sympathetic to what we're doing. They love what we're doing. Clearly, you guys live in a 2-story house, and you guys have all the power in the world. That's just nowhere near the truth, man. As an artist, even when you've made it, that's what I say to people. Even when you've made it, you haven't made it.
No, dude.
You haven't.
The work never stops.
It never stops. And the question that you're going to ask yourself is the passion.
Yeah.
Why am I this musician that is fighting with a promoter in a basement venue over $600? Like, why am I fighting with someone? Like, why am I getting physical with someone just to pay my band?
Yeah.
And to pay the other bands that were there? And my cut $600 plus my advertising costs plus all my overheads to get to the gig.
Yeah.
Like,
It's full on, man.
I may have got my $600, but there's still someone
what
that's gonna get.
cost?
There's still cuts out of that,
At
man.
what cost?
So then, you go, man. I'm happy to walk away from a gig with a case of beer, really.
Yeah.
And some of the best gigs I've done like that, like Frankie's, man. Fuck, man, playing a Frankie's
Shout out
gig.
to Frankie's.
Big shout out to Frankie's, man. They do it the best,
Dude, you play Frankie's, you feel like the rock star.
Yeah, man.
You got unlimited beers. You got
Pizza.
You got free pizza. You got stage managers. You got dudes pulling a curtain for when you come out on stage.
It's the best, man, when that curtain comes across.
Woo, baby.
Because they do their stage changes behind curtains.
It's so hectic, bro.
It is awesome. It is the experience. If you're in a band and you haven't played Frankie's, go and play fucking Frankie's, man. Yep. We did a Sunday gig there. We got paid. Like Sunday gigs, you don't get paid on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Like
that's their night for metal, bro. Sunday nights is their night for metal.
Yeah, but you get paid.
Yeah.
Like we were doing Wednesday gigs. You don't get paid on a Wednesday gig. You don't get paid. You may get paid on a Thursday gig, and you may break even. You definitely get paid on a Friday, Saturday gig.
Yeah, because everyone's out getting on the piss.
Yeah, and they're making their overhead, right?
Yeah.
But you don't get paid on a Sunday gig. Like that may as well be a Wednesday, right? But Frankie's will pay you, man, and that's why it's so sad that venue's going down, with the railway and yada yada. But when you get that feather in the cap of Frankie's or Crowbar or Mosh Pit, all of the strip on Newtown, you can play anywhere in Newtown. You've made it. You really have, and that's why I say to bands that have made it. Some bands I talk to as well, like, we just haven't made it. I'm like, yeah, you have, bro. You really have made it, man. You played Frankie's and you played Crowbar. You guys are on the scene. You don't understand, like, because you're young. You think that there's this other thing that's out there, but you're in Australia. You can go play gigs in LA, and you can go and do gigs in the south of the US, and you can go Oslo and do the European tour. You totally have made it through there. But if you've made heavy metal in Australia and played at Frankie's, you've made it.
Yeah, bro.
You may not have the financials that reflect that, but you have the experience that reflects that. Yeah. And that's where the passion is, right? If you can't take that for what it is, you're in the business for the wrong reason.
Literally.
You are literally you're literally in the business for the wrong reason.
Yeah. Straight up.
And that's where it comes back to that paradox, man. It's selfless and selfish. And a Frankie's gig is great because when they pull those curtains open, like, I must say, I got goosebumps thinking about it. I had the privilege of singing at that venue, and when they pull those curtains across, there's a crowd there, hungry to hear you.
Dude, the way it's something about the way that the venue's laid out. The way that when people enter the venue, they spill into the pizza room, whatever. And the booze. And they have the booze as well. Yeah, that you spill into the pizza room, and then you're like, oh, there's these extra doors, and you go in there, and then there's all this crazy shit happening. It looks like something out of an 80s movie. And then it does, yeah. It's very Stranger Things. Yeah. And then you're like, I'm gonna walk down, in the back, I can see these fucking pairs moving and people twirling and shit. And so you push down, but there's music playing, but then you can hear the whole live show throughout the whole venue, and then you make your way down. So it's you naturally are just forced. You go in there off the street, or you go in there because you hear it. So then you're forced to go down there. So you be playing, right? And maybe it's a release show for you, and so it's a hype show. You got all your friends and family, and maybe 20 of your fans or something like that. But then you've got all the people that are just I come to Frankie's because when I come to Sydney and I like metal, I come to Frankie's. The blow-ins, man, they're the blow-ins. They're the best crowd. Yeah, the blow-ins are the best crowd. No matter what, if you play Frankie's and you aren't popping right now, you'll still play to people, man. It's sick. Dude, you're playing on if you play at Frankie's, you're playing on the same stage that Dave Grohl's played on. You're playing on the same stage that Phil and Selmo? Yeah, totally, man. Bro. You're playing where Queens of Stone Age have played. In fact, the posters are still on the wall. Yeah, because when you do the aesthetics in that space, right? Because when you get photographed on that stage, you've got the bands that have preceded you that are on that fucking wall. Yeah, dude. And the same, the one I must say that I'm really akin to, one that really gets me going is the Factory Theatre, right? Yep. You've got the Upper Factory Theatre. Playing the Upper Factory Theatre is definitely a feather in the cap, right? But generally, if you go and approach those guys, you can put a show together. As long as you can demonstrate that you can get a crowd there, they'll put a show on, right? Yeah. There's a mirror out the back at the basement of the factory. You know the mirror I'm talking about? I've been there a bunch this year. I was there on Sunday actually.
There's a mirror out the back with all the stickers for each band that's ever played there.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, go backstage at the factory.
I've probably seen it.
Yeah, you would have, because it's at the load-in point, right? So they've got the double doors where you load in.
From the street. From
From the street.
Yeah.
Because you need to organise with the venue what time you arrive so that you can get your gear in, right?
Yeah, it's just got all the stickers, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
and there's
sick.
And there's a mirror there that has all the stickers of all the bands that have ever played.
I would have
there.
seen it.
Oh, dude, go and check it out. Like I've had other bands.
I'm gonna be there in August actually. The next tour we do it's playing the factory floor. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, make sure you take a sticker with you for the factory floor and put it on that mirror.
We don't actually have stickers.
Dude,
we should get some stickers.
Get a sticker and put it on that.
Sick.
Yeah, because you will see on that mirror. You will see bands that have played for the last 20 years that are on that mirror. And I've been in 2 bands that are on that mirror. And when I walk past that mirror, you'll be like... Because you know what I'm saying? Like, there's this romantic thing about it. Like, you walk into backstage... Because when you're backstage, you're the man. Because you're not in the crowd. You're the man. You're amongst
How funny is it?
You're amongst men and women that are doing this thing, man. Like you're the guy that is producing this content.
Yeah.
You have the privilege of standing on this stage. And when you look at that fucking mirror, man, I'm telling you, get a sticker and put it on that mirror. Because that is a rite of passage for your success.
Dude,
it really is. In Sydney,
Yeah.
if you're playing bands in Sydney and you play the factory floor, you got to get your sticker on that goddamn mirror.
Fuck yeah.
'Cause
Factory floor, get your sticker on the fucking mirror.
Man, you will, because you will look at the bands that have preceded you and you're like, shit, Thy Art, that is Murder, is on that fucking mirror.
Yes.
King Parrot is on that fucking mirror, and you are right next to them.
So good.
Because they're the guys that won, right?
Yeah.
And we're the guys that kind of won, and then there's guys that lost, right? And we've been in all of those bands.
Legit. Absolutely,
We've been in all those bands.
Absolutely. I forgot what I was going to say. But I've completely lost my train of thought.
That's
Sorry.
all right. That's all right. But man, let me quickly wrap it up. Because I think we're at the end. I think we're definitely at the end. But where can we find you as a videographer? If I wanted to get a video clip made for my band, where can I go?
I mean, it's what do you want?
I want someone to
what do you want is what I mean. Is like, are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Are you on TikTok? Because right now, bro.
Yeah.
Right now, the clients that I service, I'll have people that are only on Facebook. I'll have people that are just on Instagram and only TikTok. I'll have people that are like, I never open Instagram or Facebook. Because I'm dealing with people from all generations.
Yeah, it's strange you say that. Yeah, that generational...
Depends what you're on.
Yeah, I suppose you call it a spectrum or a scope.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're different. They are different.
Yeah.
The oldies seem to be on Facebook.
Yeah.
The younger generation... the middle young generation seems to be on Instagram. Yeah. And the really young people seem to be on TikTok. Yeah. That's the trend that I see.
For the most part, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So if you're going to find me, the main thing I'm on is Instagram. Okay. Main thing is Instagram. It's kind of weird. I'm in this weird stage because...
Instagram is currently the go-to.
Yeah, that's for me.
Currently, it used to be Facebook, and now it's Instagram.
Because I'm a photographer and a videographer. I can't just post videos.
It's that image-based stuff. Here we are talking about bands, and we're talking about Instagram, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, Instagram's where you find me. Just at blake.curby.
Okay. We got him on screen here.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Look at these shots. I know that guy. Who the fuck is that guy in the middle there? I know that guy.
It's my mate Adam.
I know that guy.
Why do you know him?
I don't know.
He looks familiar?
Yeah, really familiar. I've seen him at gigs.
He runs an Instagram account. It's called Food Porn. Look it up.
Yes!
Look it up.
Oh, man, I think I'm actually targeting this guy for an interview. Yeah.
He lives in Melbourne, though.
Yeah,
he did live in Sydney years ago.
I know that dude. I think I've read his material.
What's it called? Food_porn? Or it's just...
No, we'll check it out.
If you just type in food porn, it'll come up. So yeah, I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, but he's a great guy. But where can we find you?
Instagram. Drop me an email. Shoot me a DM. I'm kind of in this weird spot where I'm doing a whole variety of different photo videos. So you see that I do music.
Yeah,
I do weddings.
See, I never did. I've done 2 weddings.
Yeah.
I hate doing weddings.
It's so funny, man.
It's hard.
I fucking love weddings.
You love weddings? Oh, man. Good for you, man. Like,
Dude, you want to hear this? I'll do a wedding over doing a music video any day.
Really?
100%. You want to know why? Because I figured out
Okay.
the two things that I give a fuck about in this world.
Okay.
Number one, people.
Yeah.
Number two, creating. Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing about weddings is I get to do both. But it's not like you're not making a product to be sold. I'm not filming.
It's very personal.
I'm creating.
It's a personal product.
You're creating someone's fucking like a memory. Like you're storing their wedding day in a visual representation. And then the satisfaction I get when I send it to them, and even if they just
blow their mind,
even if it's just over text, like a Facebook Messenger or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my god, what the fuck, I love this." I'm like, I can't I don't even know how to feel, bro. It's so crazy.
Well, I did a wedding recently. I did my friend's wedding, and they convinced me to do it. They go, I love you as a videographer. I want you to shoot my film, shoot my wedding. I'm like. I don't do.
It's not you.
I don't do weddings.
Yeah, it's not you.
She goes, but she said to me, she goes, I just want you to be you, shooting my wedding. I'm like, that I can do.
Yeah, cool.
That I can do. So you give me total autonomous visual control of your wedding. She's like, yeah, man, I don't want any input, and I just made her. What I did was I did it. I used really cool plugins actually. Like I made it into 8mm film.
Oh, mad, dude.
Made it look like 8mm film.
Sick.
And then I busted it out to cinematic, 235 by 1.
So you're switching between the two.
Yeah, I did ratio switching.
Nice,
I did ratio switching through it. And
That's
she's
sick.
like, this is exactly what I thought you would do.
This is what I wanted from you.
Yeah, I wanted you to be you. And so I said, like, if I'm going to do this, I need to put my own texture on it. I need the way that I do color correction has to be my way.
Yeah, of course.
I don't like.
You're not changing it up.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't. I'm not.
If you want something the way that someone else does it, go hire them.
Yeah, I'll do contextual revisions for you. Like if you say I don't like this person's interview.
Yeah, that's different. That's different.
But at the end of the wedding, I gave people a microphone and got them to like talk about their friend.
Nice.
And then I put that at the end of the wedding. So I did the getting everyone prepared, the makeup,
That's such a great idea. Can I jack that off you?
Yeah, totally. So the way I did it was
I love that.
Do the setup of the wedding. So you film the suits of the groom, film the wedding dress of the bride, film her getting makeup done, film him with his best man getting his tie, adjusted. Yeah. Do that in 8mm.
Yeah.
Like no, but you shoot it at with a camera that does 1080p.
Yeah, you do your thing. Yeah.
But then you put it in like you make it look 8mm.
Yeah.
With a good plug-in, and then when you do the ceremony, make that cinematic. So like glide shots. You follow you follow the bride up to the point where they get married, and then you do a wide shot and.
Yeah.
But then go and do the interviews. I stole this idea though. I've stolen this idea. I must say where I stole it from. I stole it from the Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, because when in the Wolf of Wall Street they do these interviews.
I haven't watched it since it came out.
Yeah, but they do. There's a scene where the FBI is looking for the wedding video, right, to find the witnesses, about the corruption. I copied the format how they did the wedding video inside a movie.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, but it works really well. And I gave it to her, and she's like, because you know how it goes when you give someone a piece of yourself, and you're like, oh, I really love this, and I hope that you like it the same way that I do. Yeah. And then there's always this moment where like they could either agree with you or rebut and go, actually, this is a bit on the nose, and I don't like it. Yeah. But she came back to me and goes, this is exactly what I envisaged.
But that's usually exactly what will happen when you give someone full control.
Yeah,
it ends up being better.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to do it my way. Like, I literally did it in a cinematic film kind of way. Like, if it turned out that she was a mob boss, this footage would be used in the documentary. That's how I looked at it. Nice. You know what I mean? Like, I looked at it from if people in 100 years look back at this and they thought you were Al Capone, this is the footage that they would use. You know what I mean?
That's so cool.
That's how I looked at it. And when I produced it, I'm like, shit, actually, it's quite good.
Awesome, man.
But she was my mate though.
So yeah, I guess
Dealing with the bridezilla, that's always been my fear, is dealing with the bridezilla.
Yeah, so it's not going to translate well into you being like, all right, this is what I do now. It's you're just not wanting to pursue that niche. It's not, yeah.
Yeah, I earn money other ways. Like, I do the corporate videos. Like, I bitch about corporate videos. I do. But I must say, there's a purpose for them. I give advice to people that make corporate videos. Keep all your content that you always shoot. I'll give you an example. Like, I had this one client. So they were a new CEO in a company. And most CEOs, they establish their position by doing a video. I'm the new boss, and this is my outlook on life.
Yeah.
Here's a montage, right? in a compressed way to describe it. So I did one for a company, and he wanted to, cement his position in the company by doing a video.
Lay down the law.
Yeah. I'm approachable, but don't fuck with me. That's essentially the message. A new CEO took over that company. And they go, I want a video about me.
Where's my video?
So all I did was I went and shot them again. I didn't have to do the overlay again because I've already shot that.
You have all the B-roll.
Yeah, you've already got it. So what I say to filmmakers is, like, understand the ability of a template. Like, you may go and make something that's worth $5,000. If someone asks you to make that $5,000 again, you can basically, and if it's from the same source, you can use the same content and produce the same product and charge the same price.
Yeah,
and you've actually shortened the amount of work that you do. Like, I know that people could go, well, that's dodgy, right? That's dodgy. But it's not. It's business. The product that they received is still a high quality. It's still in the correct audio channel. It still has the correct color correction.
Yeah, but can I ask you this? Why would you bother refilming shots that you already have if you're just going to put the exact same shots in anyway?
Yeah, why would I do that?
There's no point. So,
I guess my message to people is, when you do those kind of clients, retain their content.
Yeah.
Because they're probably going to come back and ask for more content.
Oh, legit.
And
if
then,
you do a good job, they'll hire you again.
That's right.
If you're a legend,
if you don't take the piss,
you'll get rehired.
They're going to rehire you. And I actually can't recall a client that hasn't rehired me. Like, I've always been rehired. And they're either going to rehire you for one of two reasons. One's cost. You were cheaper than the other guy. Or the quality is undeniable.
Yeah.
And I prefer the latter. When the quality is undeniable, then I have no argument. Like, you can come back, because I say to clients, I'll give you 3 revisions.
Yeah, max 3 revisions.
Max 3 revisions, right? And the first revision's basically shot selection.
Yeah.
The second revision is spelling correction on supers, titles.
Yeah. I always fuck up titles, bro.
I do cut, copy, paste, right? So I say to a client,
I always forget to.
Yeah, no, but
rookie.
Yeah, no, but you give. I've got a template for it. Give them the spreadsheet and say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like run through all that. But like, I'll just get like cocky, but like, yeah, sick. I know what I need to say. Boom, 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 boom. Send it off. Comes back. Oh, video's amazing. Love it so much. Hey, you spelled fish-ish. You forgot the F.
Yeah. Well, what I say to those clients as well, like, they'll say, you spelt ish fish. I go, but you spelt it ish.
Oh, if they spell it wrong, that's on them.
So that's your cost.
Yeah.
If I fuck up, that's my cost.
Oh, 100%.
100%. And generally it ain't my fuck up. Generally it's their fuck up. So, but I will say this though, like, give patience and breathing room for your clients.
Yeah.
Because it's a stressful job.
Yeah.
It really is. Doing videography and editing. I love editing. Like, I literally feel it in my hands.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a hotkey guy. Like, I don't do browser editing. Like, file export. I don't do that shit. It's Command E, baby. Like, I especially multicam editing, and you do this with bands, right? That multicam edit where you need to synchronize your clips, create a multicam edit, and all of a sudden now you can edit rhythmically.
Yeah.
and it's ear to eye. And once you get that ear to eye, all of a sudden it's undeniable.
Yeah.
Your edit is undeniable.
Absolutely,
when people
man.
walk away and they go, "Whoo, yeah, I love that, baby," you're like, undeniable.
Yeah.
And what I do from that is, yeah, basically there's an education behind that, and you can debate because you're a self-taught dude, right? I'm one of the hybrids. I'm a self-taught dude that has the education, but I'd argue that I learnt more from self-taught than the education.
Yeah.
The education afforded me the time to employ my curiosity.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the curiosity was what feeds the beast.
Legit.
Yeah, you can go to an educational institution. You can go to an educational institution to go and get the formal education in how to make film.
It's a foundation.
Or you can go and learn how to make film. Like you don't need a sandstone university to tell you how to make a movie.
No.
Not in this day and age. It's just not. It's not required. And I don't argue for the left and right of that. Because I've talked to guys like you, like self-taught dudes that go, I was a graphic designer that is a musician that became a videographer.
Yeah.
And you had this staged progression to that wasn't planned, that was quite serendipitous in nature.
Yeah.
But you can also argue that for someone that got an education, like for instance, for me, like when I was going to film school, someone needed a film directed, and no one put their hand up. So I went, well, I know how to run teams. I have no idea.
I was in the military. I was running shows, bro.
Yeah, well, I was running crew served weapons, which is the same as running a crew.
Yeah.
Back to the intersection, right?
Yeah.
That intersection of art and war for me is mind-boggling.
It's wild, dude.
It's wild. It really is, because from cubism to the beating drums of war. Like for instance, drill. You know what drill is? Where soldiers march.
I mean, no.
Yeah, no.
No,
but
I'm gonna say no. I don't.
No, yeah, but okay. You probably do. Let me describe it another way. You know when someone calls a group of people to attention?
Yeah.
They go, attention.
Yeah.
So a 10 is what you call a precautionary order,
Yeah.
and a shin is an executive order.
Okay.
So I would say, I need you to move over there.
Gotcha.
So me saying, I need you to move over, you know what the command is now,
Yeah.
and the executive is over there.
Yeah.
Now you know the direction of the execution.
Gotcha.
Right? So a 10,
Shun.
shin.
Yeah.
So the shin is
Gotcha.
and that's called bracing, right?
Okay.
It's a form of ballet.
Wow.
That's how ballet is described.
What's movement?
It's body movement.
It's like organic movement, using your
Left to
voice.
right, 3D space.
Fucking crazy.
3D space on a flat platform
Yeah.
with gravity pulling you down.
Yeah.
It's ballet.
Yeah.
So ballet is actually met to music, which is met to the beat of a drum.
Yeah.
And when you put battlefields into play in the past,
Yeah.
they were met by a drum and drill.
Yeah.
And drill is a form of ballet.
Yeah.
You can go further to that, as I've talked about before, like cubism. You can take camouflage. Camouflage itself
Yeah.
is cubism.
Fully.
Um,
I think I heard you say that in Jan's
Yeah, man.
podcast.
Yeah, and you got like someone like Hedy Lamarr, right? This female actress.
Yeah.
This actress figured out how to do radio hopping. So when they release torpedoes, it's got a radio connection, and you can tell it to steer left and right.
Yeah.
She figured out if you did radio hopping, you can't jam the signal, because what the Nazis figured out was that we can like put out a radio frequencies on all frequencies.
Yeah.
And then they can't
Stop
control
you.
they can't control the torpedo. What she figured out was radio hopping. Do you know what radio hopping really is in this day and age? It's Wi-Fi. So when you plug in your headphones in,
Yeah.
so if you have a phone and you go wireless headphones, and I put my wireless headphones,
Through Bluetooth.
how does your wireless headphones know that my headphones aren't your headphones?
What's a signal?
It has a unique signature,
Yeah.
and that unique signature is from radio hopping.
Yeah.
That's actually from war technology. But I come to this before. I always say that the Wright brothers said, I want to learn to fly, not how to drop bombs.
Hectic.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The art is the precursor. You could argue that,
Yeah, fully.
war does advance technological innovation.
Well, it's pressure.
Yeah, but the art
Putting
is...
pressure on people to, hurry up. We got to get this shit together because if we don't hurry up, they're going to have bigger bombs and bigger
they're going to overtake us and they're going to take our shit. And they're going to take our shit and they're going to put our ideology on us, you know? I would say that we painted cave walls before we sharpened sticks. That's just my argument. That's just my argument. It really is. But with that said, man, we've been on a long haul podcast. This has been absolutely awesome. I've had an absolute ball.
Glad, bro.
But once again, like, we can check you out at blakekirby.com.
Yeah, actually, it's my website.
Yeah, blakekirby.com. And check him out on... check out Blake's band as well, Teeth. You guys are certainly making headway, going on tour. Totally green with envy. Like, that's awesome. But yeah, man, like, once again, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Man. It's good fun.
Man, I've had a really good time. I really have.
Bro.
And I hope you guys have had a good time as well. Time for the sign-off, totally. But guys, I know it's come to an end. We have to bring it to an end at some point. But I must say, thank you for being listeners. And don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. And when you're there, yes, of course, tick for notifications and subscribe. And yes, we are on Spotify, video on Spotify. Check us out on Spotify. The audience is booming there. You guys are absolutely awesome. I can't give enough attention to my Spotify audience. But with that said, if you're an avid listener, you can check us out on iHeartRadio and Apple iTunes. That's right, Apple iTunes. I know we are, we are calling up the beast, and I really appreciate you guys. But check us out on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. You guys have been watching the Pagey Train, and I'll see you next time. Shit, man, that was a long-winded outro.
Fuck yeah,
I eventually got there, though.
How long was that? What did we hit?
I don't know. Kill the record, baby. We're good to go.